Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Boy. It is John Boy time. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Get set. Cum shoes. Cockapella. Here's the Queef Chief, Aaron Joseph Beta.
Where in the world is Carmen Mandigago?
Can't even say that these days.
Well, we tried.
Yep.
Maybe, it'd be like Carmen Mandingo or something.
Oh, Carmen and Mandingo?
Carbon Mandingo.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can say that either, but
I don't think you can see that.
I'm just excited.
I can.
Yeah.
No, I can.
And you do.
Happy to be here with
happy
my little Lebowski sperm and achievers.
Oh,
Hey, very
God.
nice.
Huh?
Hey,
Is that a wink?
Very good.
well
Very
done. This dude fucks.
To your right, my left, handsome Matt Brousseau, Cape God, Gape God.
Hello.
How you doing, boys?
Pretty fucking
Pretty
nice.
good. It's a
dude.
lovely day today.
Got a
Really
nice,
is.
nice Union-made beer right here.
Yeah.
Oh, God, don't cross that picking line.
Slurping that shit up.
Here's to the WGA.
Yeah. We guys, we got brand new shirts. They're beautiful. Go to the Etsy store. I gave you guys yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. They're beautiful.
They are.
They are absolutely beautiful. And we are in the midst of myriad costs at the program. I mean, we're just we're
Really?
spending.
Yeah,
we're spending.
Yeah. How can you help?
Yeah. Get yourself a shoit. Or subscribe to the Patreon. Extra episode a week. $5.
It's the price of a latte.
Yes, and check out the Discord once you're on there. We got a bunch of maniac animals running around in there screaming.
Discord right here?
Discord, yeah. And they're great. They're just really funny, and they're always showing us cool stuff, and we love them. So
It's a good banter.
now, Matt, today I believe we're going to begin a two-part.
Yes, that is correct.
And we'll be wearing the same clothes in the videos.
Yes.
We'll probably swap shirts with each other.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just to,
Probably just pop them all off.
sure. Maybe wear bras on top of our heads like Weird Science.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm an alien. Oh.
My clothes don't fit.
Yeah, every episode we take off a piece of clothing.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, strip
Good.
profiles.
It's not hot outside, but I didn't hook up the AC in here yet, so.
It's gonna get toasty in here.
It's going to get kind of fucking freaky.
Deaky. And so it's funny you say Dutch, John, because actually it's not relevant to this profile.
Okay.
Oh, did he say Dutch?
I didn't say
No,
that.
I was gonna.
Oh,
So here what do we got here?
Okay, so
What are we dealing with?
in that Patreon a couple weeks ago, I told you about that a guy in Greenland who just had
he was unemployed.
a heart attack and died, and
They erected some sort of
A cairn.
snow monument.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the man who had his diary and personal effects ran off into the night to safety and then died, and they never found his body.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
But I remember seeing that months ago, that picture, and it reminded me that I've been meaning to do these very foolish profiles of two of the most spectacular failings of Arctic, well, I guess it's Antarctic expeditions. Because it's just, there is this, well, I guess I'll just start at the beginning. How about that?
That's a good place to start.
Antarctic expeditions, brief history. 1770s, Captain Cook makes this is, from the, European history. We don't have any.
Yeah, we don't know what the Olmecs were doing down
Yeah.
there, if or the Nazis,
Aliens.
or the aliens from the Thing.
Yeah. 1770s, Captain Cook makes the second of his two trips to the region. Prior to this expedition, it was believed that a large continent known as Terra Australis occupied the majority of the southern hemisphere. And Cook discovered that none of that existed, but there was giant ice flows, and he couldn't get to the proper Antarctic area. But he did make a discovery that everybody was just making shit up based on their guesses.
Legend,
Yeah. Why not?
superstition.
Fucking just throwing it out there, man. Just fucking.
To prove me wrong, you go down there, come back.
Yeah. And then in the 1800s, there's various missions to chart and map and name shit after their kings and whatnot.
Got to do that.
1897, the Belgian expedition becomes the first to overwinter in the Antarctic Circle, regarded as the beginning of what we now call the heroic age of Antarctic exploration. And then it just becomes like this big run to just like discover and claim things.
Yeah.
Largely done by the English, though. The French and the Belgians and the,
They want a piece.
they want pieces. 1901, 1904, Robert Falcon Scott is sent on the Discovery expedition. With him, among others, is Edward Wilson and Ernest Shackleton. Mm-hmm. They reach the furthest southern point, discover a snow-free dry valley.
Yeah.
In the western mountains, the emperor penguin colony at Cape Crozier. Scientific evidence that the ice barrier was a floating ice shelf. Leaf fossil, which helped to establish Antarctica's relation to the supercontinent that was
Known as Pangaea?
Gondwana.
Gondwana.
Yes.
A previous supercontinent.
Yes.
Must be. Well, it's not a current supercontinent, so.
Oh, yeah. They take back thousands of geological and biological specimens. New marine species were identified. Location of the South Magnetic Pole was calculated with reasonable accuracy. And on the medical side, Edward Wilson discovered that fresh seal meat combated scurvy.
That's interesting.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Because they were getting scurvy.
Yeah.
And they found out that seal meat, fresh, pretty much any meat fresh, has enough vitamins.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they eat a lot of oranges.
Yes, John. It is a dry valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get fucking groves.
It's a truly tropical experience.
You ever fuck with citrus?
Talks like that because of the teeth.
From the lack of teeth because of the scurvy?
God damn, dude. Fuck.
Scurvy's bad, bro.
Oh.
Okay, so 1907 to 1909, Ernest Shackleton takes his Nimrod expedition down. And they set a record for furthest southern point.
You know, if it gets so cold down there, you get a numrod.
That's
Very true.
They would say that the men were often so brutally cold that they never really wanted to ever discuss sex or anything.
No,
it
they
was
didn't.
just,
Well, yeah, they don't want to talk about it. It's just men down there.
well, wasn't a lot of lovemaking down there.
They didn't want to discuss sex?
It's
just
too
they
cold
never
to get
thought
horny.
about it. They just never thought of it. It's
And it's
just
like-
like
They just thought of ice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Shackleton, he reaches the
They were all frigid.
he reaches the furthest southern location, 97 miles from the pole, and he finds a path through the mountains to reach the pole from where they had landed. So I'm gonna just pull up a big old map here for you.
A little big old map.
Here we go.
Hey.
Antarctica. Okay, so we got this big old
Look at that big fucking thing.
mass.
Let's hide those porno tabs, man, huh?
They won't see them.
Okay,
So,
good.
so what we have here is this is kind of the northern section. I'm pointing at this big peninsula.
You see Argentina down there on the left.
Yeah,
And
look at it tickling down there.
And so the place that they landed would have been down here in what's called the Ross Ice Shelf.
That's where they entered the.
Yes, and so basically there's this whole bay that is all frozen over with ice, and so you pull out a boat to the edge of it, and you unpack all your stuff and you drag it across the ice. Hope you don't fall through.
Jesus Christ.
And then they landed here, what is now called McMurdo Station. And so they start there and they find their way through the mountains to the pole.
Wow.
So I'll show you some better maps eventually, but that is just the basic, and it's.
Now, were they navigating with a magnetic compass or the stars?
So the problem is the compass, because you're so close to the magnetic pole that it's just
Unreliable.
It's unreliable. And so they basically would do they would judge by the wind or by previous cairns and flags and locations. They have, land masses if they could see. One of the things is, if there's a blizzard,
You can't see shit.
you can't see anything.
No.
So you cannot go outside because in 3 minutes you will not find your way back, John, because they don't walk in straight lines.
Who doesn't walk in straight lines?
People when they can't see. Remember that we had that whole debate that you were very
Oh no,
skeptic-
mine was about tunnels.
Well, a blizzard is a form of a tunnel.
I mean, you're right.
It was about tunnels, you're right. But this is kind of like a big snowy tunnel.
Follow a fucking penguin.
Dude.
He knows where he's going.
Well, sometimes
and he's thinking about fucking.
And then eat them.
there's not a lot of penguins.
Thanks, little buddy.
There's not really any penguins around this area. They have their own places where they are.
Yeah.
They have inlets and
You said it's like a colony.
They will in Cape Crozier. There is,
These little fancy men in the little tuxes.
and they move around. With the seasons.
Yeah.
There's only 2 seasons down there.
Strut their stuff.
2 seasons. And I would imagine long days or long nights, depending on the season.
Yes, and we will get to that. I made a note that just for clarification, just because I don't think Brett Harris knows this. The geographic North Pole is the end of Earth's rotational axis, where the north is north on the geographic maps. This pole lies in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. The magnetic North Pole is the point where the lines of force in the Earth's magnetic field converge.
Right.
This is the point that tracks the needle of the compass. They are not the same
That's
thing.
correct. That's correct. Our axis is tilted.
So, after Shackleton is one of the great journeys notable for success and relative ease. 1910 secret expedition of Norwegian rolled Amundsen. Now, Amundsen had been to the area with a Belgian team as a first mate in the 1897, and then 1903 he was the first to successfully traverse the Northwest Passage, connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. He did
What year was that?
that would have been 1903.
1903 was the first time
We connected
we connected.
the Atlantic and Pacific,
Fuck. What a
at least up there.
Yeah. But it took that long
Yeah, well, for the Westerners.
for the Westerners via ship and foot in the last 10,000 years. But
He had excuse me. He had a team of 6 men, and he took his boat and he just hugged the coast. And along the way, he learned valuable lessons from the local Inuit tribes about the use of sled dogs and wearing animal skins instead of parkas.
that's right.
Around 1910, he had a plan funded to be the first to reach the North Pole. However, right before he left, it was 2 Americans announced that they had done it. This would later largely be questioned. They probably didn't.
That's so funny.
Be there.
We already did that.
Yeah.
Just some guy at a bar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Fucking
Long time ago, me and that other guy over there.
had a beer with Santa.
See that guy playing pool? Me and him did that.
We left a thing up there. Go.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Yeah, go find it.
I'll see you when you get back.
So by this time, Robert Falcon Scott, who had already had that one expedition, he had announced that he was going to the world, that he was going to go to the South Pole and be the first to get to the pole.
Tweeted it.
And he had actually talked with Amundsen about, being out there, and I think he had
Any tips?
yeah, kind of, but
tips.
just like sharing information with each other, because they were kind of like the 2 guys who were
Yeah, the top of the cream of the
It's
crop.
cold.
now. So Amundsen,
Bundle up.
yeah. Well, so we will
Don't think about sex.
we will get into some differences at the end of this episode, which will become notable. So.
And so, just to go off of what you said earlier about the North Pole, the South Pole, similar situation. Magnetic south is not the same as geographic
Yes,
south.
exactly. So it would be one thing to get to the South Pole itself. It's another thing to get to the magnetic one. Less important,
Yeah.
less cool
Yeah.
to get to the magnetic one, but still important for, readings of the compasses and just
Yeah.
understanding the Earth.
Progeny.
I'd be afraid I was going to go crazy like my compass.
Well, so, there is a thing that I titled Ice Madness. And so when the sun is at weird angles when it is out.
Yeah.
And so it casts these crazy mirages.
Oh, wow.
Because, there'll be just these barren plateaus for miles and miles. And
reflective white ice.
30 miles down, there might be a pile of dog shit that the sun is reflecting into this giant.
It's a fucking mountain.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God.
It's a mountain of shit. There's giants down here, man.
Yes.
Yetis.
Or you think someone's here to rescue you. Yeah.
That's my rescuer's turd pile. I think I can smell it.
How was the South Pole? I was a pile of shit.
So, Amundsen, he doesn't even tell his crew. And at the last port they're at, he decides, we're going to go to the South Pole. Doesn't tell anyone, not his crew. And then they leave, and then he tells them. And they're like, oh, fucking asshole. And Scott, he doesn't tell at all. There's no, it's not like he can't call him.
Secrets.
But he lands in a different location. He lands in the Bay of Whales, which is, if we go back to the map here. So here is where Scott and Shackleton land. And the Bay of Whales is over here. Or so where maybe it's here. Where
WHALES?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a bunch of fucking Welshmen there.
I mean, they're known for naming shit after existing places.
And so he lands in a different location.
That's fair.
Reminds me of home.
These whales is better than the real one.
It's barren, full of ice, no life whatsoever. Perfect.
Yeah, contributes nothing. Apologies to all Welsh listeners.
Nah.
And he where he lands and sets up his base is actually 60 miles closer to the pole.
Interesting.
Now, there's no known way to get through, to the pole there. But what he does is he wears furs. He uses sled dogs the entire time. Mm-hmm. In fact, bringing female dogs with them that then give birth during their trip.
To dog shits.
Yeah. And they don't do any man hauling. The English had this system, which there's this combination between what the English are wearing and their system where they seem to believe through their Britishness that they have to be right.
Yeah, it works so well with the redcoats against the U.S. and the Native Americans.
And so I mean, I should list some of my sources. So one of them, this Sarah Pickman has this piece called "Dress, Image, and the Cultural Encounter in the Heroic Age of Polar Exploration." She writes that like Amundsen had spent this time with the Inuits, and they like the furs they wore.
Yeah.
And when he's riding the sleds, the sweat's just wicking off him.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the other people. Try to be like that.
Yeah.
Look at the polar bears. Do what they do.
And the English have this stubborn belief that no, they must be right, and they're wearing like wool, and their coats are freezing, and they're freezing solid on them, and they have these reindeer hair bags that the hair is like gets off and gets in everything.
And were you saying that they also were being like tugged by fellas?
So the English had instead of
I love a good tug by a fella.
when Scott goes down originally, he devises a system of man hauling where the men would haul these sledges. The sledges would be loaded up with hundreds of pounds of materials and supplies.
Shit. God.
And they would and another thing is the Norwegians were really good skiers. Amundsen specifically picked guys who were good at skiing and knew how to navigate themselves. He didn't have to teach them anything. They knew all
cool.
of this
He's
stuff.
putting together a crew.
Yes.
Dude, that's nuts.
I need skiers.
To go to like a fucking like just unexplored continent and ski on it? Like
Sounds, I mean, if you're a skier, you love that.
Yes.
Fresh powder, bro? Fresh pow?
Oh.
And Scott, at one point, one of his men asked to be taught how to use a sextant, and Scott says, no, don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, what?
A sextant. It's
a sextant.
Yes.
Sextant.
Not a sextant.
Okay.
Which you don't have down there because you can't think about it.
I don't even want to think about it.
No.
It's too cold.
But a sextant is a device for navigation using the stars and the horizon and whatnot.
Yes. Gotcha.
Yes, and the Norwegians would use those exclusively. The English had a different thing that was heavier and bulkier and not as easy to use, and only like 2 guys knew how to use it.
Right, perfect.
Yeah. And that's one way you know where you are, because if the sky is clear, you can use that and figure out what your location is.
Right.
And so they tried to teach the Englishmen skiing. They didn't take to it, so
Rubbish.
so a lot of them didn't ski.
Have a cabin boy pull me.
Yes. I'll be here on this. Like, it's just like the English are like, there's nothing that can't be solved by human slavery. Like, they're like, fucking, I mean.
Just power through the stiff upper lip.
And let me pull up a little.
Lips freeze, become stiff.
Man.
So
fucking Inuits, dude, they gotta be having, like, every night's a 3-dog night.
Oh,
very good job. So here is a video of what it looked like to manhaul.
Ugh. Why not get dogs?
And this is good conditions.
Yeah. This is the easy shit.
And not uphill. So it's just men with harnesses around them pulling hundreds of pounds.
Oh, they got a sail on that one.
Yeah. So in Scott's first expedition, they had used dogs briefly and ponies, and we're kind of like, well, the ponies work, but the dogs, we can't really get how to work them that well.
Can't figure out how to work a dog?
The oldest domesticated animal in the world.
And it would later be discovered that the Norwegians fed the dogs better and better food. A dog that's not eating enough is not going to pull.
No.
It's going to get angry.
No,
And especially if it's English food.
and like at that point, like the dog is the crew.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a dog is like pivotally important.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it better be eating the same shit. And maybe you even,
Give it better food.
let it fuck you maybe.
Or yeah.
Don't think about it.
No.
But just let it
helps
happen.
if you don't think about
because
it.
they're going to breed, so they're thinking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Dogs.
And then maybe you get some sort of weird dog-human hybrid.
yes, that'd be cool.
That's a great idea.
And then you can man-dog haul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they call a mandingo. When it's half dog, half man. It's a mandingo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
A, man,
That's right. Yep.
a mandingo ate my baby. You!
The Norwegians, they knew how to run the dogs better. They also had a plan where they would take almost extra dogs, but a lot of dogs, and then the further they got, the weaker dogs would be killed and fed to the other dogs. And Scott had this
Not
belief
eaten
that
by the people?
if need
Okay,
be.
good.
But Scott had this belief. He's like, well, the English wouldn't do that.
So what do they do? Just like send the dog to a farm or something?
So the English they're like, Scott tries to make sure all the dogs are saved. He doesn't want the animals killed unless it's like super necessary.
And that was his folly.
Of
One of many, but first folly was his.
No, his first volley is a big thing we will get to at the end of the episode. That
Okay.
I read, the paper came out in 2017. That
I think I remember some new news about the Scott expedition coming out.
and so Amundsen, he runs he finds a path through the mountains, and they're all going, oh, the dogs can't figure out the glaciers. Amundsen drives the dogs. He finds his own path, straighter line to the pole, through the mountains, with 4 other men, 4 sledges, 52 dogs. He gets to the pole and back in 99 days. All men fare well. No one gets frostbite. It's an uneventful time, and so it is not an
News.
exciting story. And then that's the end of the story. That's it. And
He just because he did it.
because he was great at it.
Yeah.
That's
Fucking
his story.
asshole.
And I'll show you. Here's a map of his route.
Easiest thing in the world. Just get some dogs, a few guys, some sleds.
Yeah.
Have a trip.
couple of fucking.
Couple cans of beans.
So you look there, you see that's his map there. I'm sorry, it's quite small, but
And that's his route through the mountains.
Yep. So that's his route, and you see on the right that's Shackleton's
Fucking dumb.
his original route. And so along the way, Amundsen, what you do is you bring tons of supplies initially, and at so many stopping points with another group, you drop off supplies
For the way back.
for the way back, and you build a cairn over it and freezes, and so it all stays good.
It's smart.
And so you bring an extra party, and they take extra food, and they drop it off, and then they leave, and you go to the pole, and then you come back, and you pick up your food along the way.
Smart.
And just Amundsen he dropped more depots closer together. And it's a rather uneventful journey, and he does it. He's the first guy to the South Pole.
Yeah, you got something to look forward to.
Hey, you get a nice hot meal when you get on your way back.
Yeah. Leave a
Now,
guy
what kind of shelters were they building? Bivouacs?
So they had tents, and then
Sex tents.
yeah, they would have tents, and it'd be like 3 guys to a tent. And then for the dogs, the dogs could generally just sleep outside.
Yeah.
If they were in one place for a while, the dogs, they would build little huts for them.
Yeah.
The horses, every time they camped, they had to build a wall of ice so the horses wouldn't freeze.
The fuck is a horse doing?
So that's hours of work every time you stop. What
kind of dogs did they take?
So I believe that Amundsen took
French poodles.
some sort of
Malamute
dog he
husky.
specifically,
is that right?
yeah. And
1,000 Shih Tzus just pulling fucking sleds.
Giant Shih Tzu Mirage.
just the loudest thing.
Fucking just completely insane.
It's the 1010 Amundsen.
We left those for eating on the way back.
So that's Amundsen's story, and so instead we're going to be talking about two failures notable for their tragedy and heroism. And so in 1910, Robert Falcon Scott, back to him. He also heads back to Antarctica. Now there's two reasons. The first is to reach the pole and be the first to do it, and the other one is to bring back emperor penguin eggs, because there is belief at the time by Edward Wilson and scientists back then that
Hold on, wait.
if they can
Wait. What do you think they're going to use the eggs for?
Oh, what do I think we're going to use it for? Some sort of wacky medicinal cure.
Yeah. Cures homosexuality, probably.
Yeah, or induces.
We'll have to get a penguin egg.
You have to rum it up your bum. Just squish it with your butt cheeks.
Then you can knock off all that carry-on.
There is an evolutionary theory that as one species evolves from another, that the evolution of the fetus will have the other animals' traits in its, like it'll be stacked on top of each other.
Right.
I can't remember the exact
But some
phrase.
bullshit.
Well, it turns out it was wrong.
Yeah.
But they believe that if they can get the emperor penguin egg, no one has ever gotten an emperor penguin egg before, but if they can get the embryo from it, then they can see whether this theory is correct. And so it's for Scott, all of his missions were, the science was imperative. And then the discovery was, it'd
be nice.
Yes. So Scott's journey is the Terra Nova expedition. And his story is largely told through the book by the zoologist on board, Apsley Cherry Gerard. In his book, The Worst Journey in the World, which is the main source for this, along with Scott of the Atlantic by Elspeth Huxley and the Antarctic collection at I can't remember, the UK museum, but one of those. So Scott's plan is that they're going to use ponies, motorized sledges, dogs, and man hauling. Now, he has a guy who
Fucking ponies.
Yeah.
He brought his daughter along. She was like, I want a pony. Daddy.
He has a guy who's like an expert in motorized sledges, okay? And these are basically just, it's like a little mini tank sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's the guy who's supposed to be the expert in it, he is invited onto the crew. But Scott decides to take in this guy named Teddy Evans as his second in command. And Evans says, this guy, the sledge guy, he outranks me. So if you're not around and I'm above him in your chart, but he's here, then he's not going to listen to me. And the motorized sledge guy goes, no, I don't care. I will listen to you. And Evans says, no, he's got to go. He can't come with us. So Scott says, okay.
The guy that's been there before.
No, this guy hadn't been there before. He's an expert in motor, like
Got it.
He's an engineer, knows how to build and operate the motorized sledges.
Oh, okay. So then we're gonna take the guy that once it breaks can fix it.
Yeah,
Except,
they don't
except
take
not because he's a threat to my rank.
Yeah. And so Scott, for the ponies, the pony expert is this guy named Oates, and he's
Makes sense.
The pony expert.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I know, it's ponies, gentlemen. And
Not horses.
and this pony does a little trot.
Look at him.
Look at him go.
Now, the pony expert didn't join the expedition right away, so when Scott sent a guy to buy ponies, he didn't buy the right ponies. Yeah.
What kind of,
They brought fucking show pony.
this is a fucking baloney pony. What do you want me to do with this?
I don't want to think about it. All right, okay. So, I mean, also, why not donkeys? Not Irish people.
Took the words right out of my mouth, John.
But like you know, it's like a more like a mule, like a.
Well, a mule is a combination of a horse and a donkey.
Right, but they would be more like the pulling shit kind of you would go to.
You know, I've heard stuff about, you know, why dogs and wolves they do better, and it has to do with like the way that their paw, they have paws, not hoofs.
Yes,
and like
Well, the big thing, they don't sweat. Ponies sweat.
yeah, and they freeze.
They freeze.
Dogs pant.
Yeah.
wow,
It's a real pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Wow.
sweating, dude.
Not good when
gross.
it's negative degrees outside.
Yeah.
And also, the ponies were supposed to. There was these Norwegian horseshoes made for ponies, and
Just going right into the cell.
well, because without them they do, but with them, they stay on top of the snow. And even Scott, in his diary, he writes something to the effect of. All right, here it is. The effect was magical. He strolled around as though walking on hard ground in places where he floundered woefully without them. But the horse expert says, "Nah, I don't believe in him," and never takes them when they go out.
wow, oh my god, nice,
Yeah.
expert, smart.
Here's my note on the animals.
Oats. Bless you, Angel. Bless you, God damn it.
Oh, thank you.
Scott's previous discovery expedition had tried dogs, but because the English couldn't ski well, they fell behind the dogs. And they didn't feed them the right food or enough, so the dogs were hard to work with and eventually died.
Who brought cat food?
The prevailing view in England was that dogs weren't as useful as man hauling. Shackleton had used ponies on his trip, and Scott brought a pony expert, Oates, on his trip, right? And so they bought the wrong one. And so eventually, you know, they get all this stuff, and they overload the ship. They almost lose a bunch of cargo when they get caught in a storm. Dogs are falling all over the place. Ponies are falling all over the place. On their way down, they get stuck in a ice pack for 20 days.
Jesus Christ, 20 days?
Not abnormal. Amundsen, when he had planned to go to the North Pole, the plan was to go up there and get stuck in a pack of ice and then have it drag them closer to the pole.
Wow.
Like via like flow?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to get trapped. You know how like the Joker wanted to get caught?
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
That was it. We're going to get dangerously trapped in an ice
Well, just
flow.
wait till episode 2.
We're going to hustle and then we're going to flow.
We'll have tea and it'll be fine.
20 days they get stuck, but on January 4th, they land at what Scott would call Cape Evans. Name it after Teddy Evans for some reason. They unload all their cargo, and as they're unloading their cargo, they put one of the motorized sledges down, and it breaks right through a thin piece of ice, almost taking a man with it. They have a rope, and they're holding onto the rope, and they're like, "No, we can't pull it up."
Fuck this thing.
And so down it goes. They immediately lose one of their 3 motorized sledges.
Bye.
But they do get to
That stupid thing's still down there. Just
Yeah.
They do get off the ice and onto solid ground, and they build a prefabricated hut that they had brought. It's called Scott's Hut. It was filled with books and bunks and records, and they had a piano and
What?
yeah.
Fucking records?
Why not make this a good old time, boys?
Well, they had
We're going to be here for a while and we can't fuck.
So here's a fun thing. So they had a gramophone, and they had a lot of records. But, you know, the needles back then, they would run out. And so they made sure when they put in their order to order extra needles but they didn't specify which needles. And when they opened up their packs, they had 1,000 sewing needles.
1,000?
Yeah.
Skin the dogs.
This is good. This is good. What records did they bring?
Now we're down here in the cold. No fucking music. Nobody
Yeah.
knows how to play the piano.
No, they did have people who knew how to play the piano.
We got one anyways.
We just have Sandstorm on repeat in the fucking igloo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody have any glow sticks?
So they get settled, and then as soon as they get settled, they just start working. 5 a.m., they wake up, they eat breakfast, what they would call a hoosh, Hoosh. It's a watery mixture of biscuits, pemmican, and water. And so the pemmican they had is basically it's like beef jerky mixed with fat,
Yeah.
and it becomes like a little biscuit of meat.
Yeah.
And that was what they called pemmican. And then they would
That's
make.
all they had.
Well, they had canned food too. But
Okay.
when they were sledging, it would be, they would have
Sledge time.
They would bring the pemmican and the biscuits, and then they would boil water with the snow, and they would bring tea, and then they would bring animals, and then they would have these depots. And so they get to work 5 a.m.
Crack open some emperor penguin eggs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice side of
hook
bacon.
that on top. I'm not gonna be gay anymore, dude.
You'll see. Put your cock in my mouth. I'll hit it. Try it.
Oh, it's scurvy, right?
Tastes like shit.
Yeah, probably did.
Tastes like my shit. What?
I mean, you're right.
He's like he knows what his own shit.
It came out of your ass. Anyways.
This tastes familiar.
So,
The hell?
so
Just a
they
doggone second here.
Okay.
so they set out, and what they do as soon as they get there, after they build the hut and they get that going, 5 a.m. tonight, including meals, they build and stock depots for the polar journey for the following year. So the plan is they are going to winter there, and then during the end of the winter, and the winter is because it's the southern hemisphere, it's our summer basically, and it is it's basically it's like March to November or so, and then the summer is the opposite,
Right.
and so
Can't believe they didn't fuck that up too. What the hell? It's July. What the hell?
So Antarctica is the windiest place on Earth. Winds up to 200 miles an hour. Fuck. The summer,
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sale makes sense now.
Yes.
fucking sandstorm, bro.
The summers are short and cold with lots of daylight. The days are very long. The sun above the horizon for over 18 hours in midsummer at 60 degrees. The northernmost limit of Antarctica, add in the twilight hours, it never gets fully dark at this time. The further south you go, the days get longer still, and in the deep south, the sun is above the horizon 24 hours a day, for weeks. The winters are long and very cold with long, dark nights that may last for weeks. The dark doesn't last as long as the summer light, but there's twilight after the snow sets below the horizon and before it comes up again.
Aw.
So in the winter, it's just black.
Bad.
But the wind is colder, but the storms are, the summer blizzards are more, they happen more often, I believe. And it's something
Solar.
warmer weather,
Yeah.
snow, less freezing, maybe, so more snow.
Yeah. The solar energy kicks up more shit.
Yeah. But so they're going to winter there, and at the end of winter they'll go collect some eggs, and then the following January Scott will march for the pole, or the end of winter, he'll march for the pole when the sun is out.
Let's go for it.
Sun's out, guns out, boys.
So the first thing they do is that first few months they go out and they set up depots for the just to get them out there. And there you can see these on the map here. So here is where they landed. Here's the hut, and then here's the pole. Here's where Shackleton had made it. Here's
now, are we looking?
Here's Amundsen's.
Would you say that this is inverted for us, whereas
Yes.
that's the up is south?
So this is
Up.
north.
Okay, I see.
And so yeah, this is I believe from New Zealand.
Oh well, yeah, I guess everywhere is north when you're around the south.
Yeah.
We're on the north shore of the Antarctica.
So-
Yeah.
so
That's
those
the whole shore is the North Shore.
Boston accents.
Tubular.
So this is around 80 latitude here. And Amundsen was over here, and this was his route. Boom, boom, boom. So Scott and team are over here, and so they drop these 3 depots. 1 ton depot is 1 ton of supplies. And so the plan is to drop 1 ton depot at around 80 degrees latitude. Now, so in January, after they get there, they set off with 12 men, 8 ponies, 2 dog teams. They set 1 depot 40 miles in, then they get stuck in a blizzard for 3 days.
Ooh.
I don't like it.
And Cherry Gerard describes the blizzard as thus. One summer blizzard is like another. The temperature, never very low, rises and you are not cold in the tent. Sometimes a blizzard is very welcome rest. After weeks of hard pulling, dragging yourself awake each morning, feeling as though you had only just gone to sleep with the mental strain perhaps which work among crevices and tails, it is most pleasant to be put to bed for 2 or 3 days. You may sleep dreamlessly nearly the entire time, rousing out for meals or waking occasionally to hear from the soft warmth of your reindeer bag the deep boom of the tent flapping in the wind, or drowsily you may visit other parts of the world while drifting snow purrs against the green tent at your head. But outside there's a raging chaos. It is blowing a full gale, the air is full of falling snow, and the wind drives this along and adds it to loose snow which is lying on the surface of the barrier. Fight your way a few steps away from the tent and it will be gone. Lose your sense of direction and there is nothing to guide you back. Expose your face and hands to the wind, they will very soon be frostbitten. And this is at midsummer. Imagine the added cold of spring and autumn, the cold of darkness and winter.
Damn.
And so they get stuck in this blizzard and for 3 days. And but the dogs are doing fine. The pony's not so well. Again, no snowshoes. And as they struggle, even just getting, this is maybe a quarter of the way
Yeah.
from where Scott is eventually going to want to go.
Yes.
As the ponies are struggling out there, Scott suggests killing any ponies that collapse along the way and stocking the depots with their meat. And Scott says no. And he says, we'll send the 3 weakest back. As they go back, 2 of them die. And because of their lack of ponies to pull the supplies, Scott lays his final depot, 1 ton depot, 30 miles short of his intended target. That depot with 1 ton of supplies. And this will become 30 miles. Remember that, 30 miles.
30 miles.
He then splits up the party.
Oh, smart.
He takes his 2 dog teams. He leaves 3 men to bring the ponies back. This was led by a man named Bertie Bowers.
Rest in peace, buddy.
His diaries are in Cherry Gerard includes his diaries and Scott's and everybody's diaries in his account. And Bowers writes how hard it is to know where you're going when you're down there because compasses too close a magnetic pole to give an accurate reading. With good visibility and the right person around, they could use a theodolite, which is their version of the sextant. This big, and it's just. Another thing, Amundsen, what he did is he used prepared navigational sheets that simplified the calculations. And so when they were tired and cold, they could...
Yeah, maps are helpful. Yeah.
4 out of 5 of his team were qualified navigators. And the theodolite is harder to understand. It needs more arithmetic. But some of them could figure out how to do it. And as they're headed back, as the dog teams are headed back to what they call safety camp, which is one of the camps away from the main base, but once you're there, you're safe. One of the sledges of dogs falls into almost falls into a crevice, and so there's the Antarctica is covered by these giant crevices, where there's this wide split in the ice. Centuries of ice and snow building up, and you'll be going over a patch that you think is fine, and then you realize it's a bridge over a crevice.
Damn.
And you don't
A bridge made of snow.
Yeah. And generally the bridges hold, but you can never really be sure.
Yeah, well, now you start trotting your ponies across the fucking thing.
So I mean, the guys would be, when they're hauling, they'd be in harnesses, but sometimes you can't usually see the crevice. And so sometimes they would fall into the crevice, but they would have their harness, and the harness was built to hold them when they fell. And so then someone else would come over and go,
Give them a tug job.
Yeah.
Tug them off.
Not sexually, John.
No.
Yeah, they get that little guy in the cloud from Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's basically, yeah. Boop, 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 boop. So this time with the dogs, almost the whole team falls in. Thankfully, the sledge holds them up, but 2 dogs do fall out of their harnesses into the crevice.
God damn it.
Scott himself insists on being lowered 65 feet down into the crevice.
My dogs, man.
And he is he comes back, like they have to convince him not to explore the crevice. They're like, get up here, come back, because he gets the dogs up and he's like, hey, this is neat. It's down here.
There's the Grail down there.
Yeah.
Indiana.
You wouldn't believe it. There's more snow.
I must check it out.
Yes. There's little hiding places.
Little nooks and crannies for all my knickknacks.
And it should be noted that the guys would often wear goggles to not get snow blindness, but it was harder. You couldn't really see the crevices if you had them. And for a guy like Absolutely Cherry Gerard, he wore glasses, and you can't wear glasses.
Right.
So whenever he was out, he was just walking in like a fuzz.
Yeah.
My glazes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Which is, that's exactly what you want.
The best.
Yeah, when
In
you
a
can't see a
navigator?
crevice.
Yeah.
He's a zoologist.
I did like that he saved the dogs, though.
Did he save them?
So he does save the dogs.
Oh, good.
And on the way back to the safety camp, one of the ponies died on the way back to there.
Fresh meat?
Then so both parties meet up there. Then they split up again to head back to the main camp. Now the pony team, on their way back to the main camp, they camped for a night, and before they realized it, they had camped on a floe, which started moving.
Oh.
And it cracked up around them. And as it cracked, one of the ponies just fell straight in.
Where's the pony? Guys?
And
Damn it.
over the next half day or so, the team with these ponies, they have to hop from one floe to the next floe in order to keep staying near the land. Because if they don't, they will just flow right out into the ocean.
Yeah.
And so they keep hopping, and eventually, and as they're doing this, killer whales are circling the floes.
Oh.
And bumping the ice.
Oh, dude, those fucking whales.
Oh.
Those
Yeah.
crazy cetaceans.
Whoa.
And
Come on.
yeah, you won't.
Do something.
Yeah. Is there more ponies? We ate that one.
Oh, so you never had pony before. All we have is emperor penguin eggs. And we're super straight. Get so horny. Eat them eggs. We're gonna fuck your horse before we eat them.
That's not a baloney pony, is it?
It will be.
Aha, spit it out.
So it's a 3-man team. One of them is Cherry Gerard, and they need to send someone back. They can't send the guy who can't see back, so they have to send one guy back to camp to get word that we need someone to come
Help us flowing.
Yeah, we need more people to, because they're like dragging the sledge back over the.
We need somebody that we can feed to the killer whales.
Yeah.
So the sledges they're about 20 feet in length, and so they'll use those as bridges. But if the flows are split too much, you can't get the pony.
Oh, God. Dude, the ponies, bye.
Dude, done. Eat it. Just eat it.
I don't know why I'm so much more precious about dogs than ponies.
Because you had a
These
dog.
ponies, I'm like, yeah.
But also, yeah, you're right. Stupid idea.
And they're ponies. They're not even horses.
Yeah.
They're ponies.
I don't even know anything.
So eventually, one guy is able to make it back to the main hut. He gets Scott. Scott comes down with some guys. They rescue the guys. They have to leave the 2 ponies stranded, and they just float out to sea. And
Those are some lucky whales.
yep.
They started their own pony society.
And so by the time they all get back from
The Adam and Eve of ponies. The Adam and Eve of Antarctic ponies.
Yeah.
Years and years later, the Nazis would find an advanced society of ponies.
And a subspecies of mandingos.
We're subservient to these baloney ponies.
Oh my God, there's a Statue of Liberty. What the fuck?
From my cold, dead hooves. Get your damn hands off me, you damn dirty pony.
Get your hands on me. Now, so they get all these guys back. And so after this first run of depot laying, they get back, another pony dies in camp. They started with 19 ponies on the whole trip, and they're now down to 9. And it's been like 4 months.
And did they eat any of them?
They did kill some of them. I mean, some of them they fed to the dogs. Some of them they did stock in depots.
Good.
But not as much as
they probably should have.
They should have.
Yeah.
It's
good meat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, and also when Scott gets back to the camp, so he had his boat. The boat had guys on it, and the guys were going to go and check out another part of Antarctica, and I think they were going to do some scientific experiments or something. I can't remember.
The Inuit set up some glory holes at this one. Come on.
But they take the boat out, and they get to the Bay of Whales, and they see, they're like, there's guys there? What?
Too bad we're not gay.
They're like, oh, fuck, it's the fucking Norwegians.
No.
Because they're like 3 months into their trip, that's when Amundsen announced.
They built a hot tub and a sauna and everything. They're kicking back, smoking pony meat.
How's your journey?
We're having like a really fun time. How is it out there? I don't know.
Did you goof it up? Ponies, huh? Good call.
Look at Sven. He's riding an orca. Sorry to hear about your dogs.
Yeah.
Smoked emperor penguin?
No gay shit, fellas. Yes.
The Norwegian.
The Norwegians. The Vikings of old. Here they are. Being better than us. Somehow.
How the mighty have fallen.
So Scott, when he gets to camp, he gets a letter from the boat, and the boat's saying like, "Hey, we saw the Norwegians. Their camp looks great. They're
Doing great.
They're 60 miles closer.
They're thriving.
They turned their frozen ponies into a fucking carousel.
Scott writes in his journal, he said, every incident of the day pales before the startling contents of the mailbag which Atkinson gave me. Letter from Campbell stating out his findings and the findings of Amundsen established in the Bay of Whales. One thing only fixes itself definitely in my mind. The proper, as well wiser course for us is to proceed exactly as though this has not happened. To go forward and do our best for the honor of the country without fear or panic. There's no doubt that Amundsen's plan is a very serious menace to ours. He's a shorter distance to the pole by 60 miles. I never thought he could have got so many dogs safely to the ice. His plan of running them seems excellent. But, above all and beyond, he can start his journey early in the season, an impossible condition with ponies.
Yes! How are they not falling through the fucking ice all the time?
John, the ice is feet thick.
Yeah, but ponies are heavier than dogs.
I know, but
John, they did fall through the ice. I think that's the lesson we're learning here.
Yeah.
That they did.
Continuing to insist on ponies is really...
Yes.
And then to not eat them.
Yeah, it's very English.
Yes.
No, we won't be doing that. I'm afraid.
We're not French.
Eat?
Horses?
Eat Merlin's taint? I think we will not.
Good old Merlin here? My prized pony?
Yes. Merlin the mayor?
I've never heard something so absurd in my life. Next thing you'll be saying they're whales with teeth.
Next thing you'll be saying, we should let them fuck us, too.
Who said that? Well, maybe it's not such a bad idea. As long as you don't think about it.
Yeah. Haven't had my first egg yet, so might as well.
I've got an excuse. The yoke's on you, Sven.
So some of the notes that they have about the Norwegians. This is John. You'll enjoy this one.
Oh.
They're talking about their ship, the Frem. They also took way fewer guys. The engines of the Frem occupy only half the size of our war room.
I'm sorry, the what?
The Frem is the Norwegian boat.
The what of the Fram?
The engines. So they took a smaller boat, fewer men. The petrol tanks have not needed replenished since they left Norway, since the propeller can be lifted by 3 men. They have kept fresh potatoes from Norway to the barrier. Parentheses, some of them must surely be renegade Irishmen.
Because they brought potatoes.
Yeah, the British really never miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably because they're better at it than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys eating your fucking hoosh.
Whoosh.
You got a spud here, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. You know what you can do with that? It's basically an emperor penguin egg.
Yeah.
Bake it. Roast it.
But Cherry Gerard, he notes that Amundsen was not just some random sailor. He was an intellectual explorer. And he was not going, because in the letters they think like, oh, you know what, like he's still going to take Shackleton's route. And no, he doesn't. And he also he describes him as an explorer of the markedly intellectual type, rather Jewish than Scandinavian.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is the thing. Once somebody's beating an Englishman, they just start casting aspersions about the racial makeup.
Yeah.
They're like, it seems as though it's Irish and
Jewish hybrid.
Doesn't seem to be Norwegian at all, I'm afraid. It's like,
I'm shocked they didn't turn those spuds into some sort of latke type of bullshit.
But so the original letter writer, he says, the impression they have left with me is because they meet up with him and they have a meal together and they talk, and the Norwegians are very cagey about not asking them for like information about what they're doing, but they do offer to like, hey, if you guys need any help with anything, let us know.
the Norwegians say.
Yeah.
If you'd like to have a sweat in the sauna.
Yeah.
But the letter writer does say, he says, the impression they have left with me is that of a set of men of distinctive personality, hard and evidently inured to hardship, good goers and pleasant and good-humored. All of these qualities combine to make them very dangerous rivals, but even did one want to not to, one cannot help liking them individually in spite of the rivalry. It's kind of like, hey, we're all here,
These
right?
guys are good.
Yeah. It's the only other humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
And they're all doing the same shit.
Yeah.
And
They're
I
doing
mean,
it better.
and there's no way you're not going to respect them doing it better.
Yeah. It's
And-
Antarctica.
Yeah. And you're supposed to be the best in the British,
Yeah.
and you're not
Yeah.
at all.
You're more of a boat people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys ski. This is a vacation for these guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're experts in it.
Yeah, hot cocoa and everything.
We've already been to the pole like 3 times.
Yeah, man.
Meanwhile, the English
Today.
are falling down hills. And
Ludwig did a dance number around it. It was hot.
it's called pole dancing?
I guess it's something like that.
So they went for a few months until the end of June. And then Edward Wilson, the scientist, and Bertie Bowers, and absolutely Cherry Gerard, they leave to go collect some penguin eggs. It is a 5-week journey.
Party's over, fellas.
It's a 5-week journey round trip.
Get it in while you can.
And Wilson had winter travel. So they're traveling in the winter. Winter travel is almost never done. It's only done out of desperation because it's dark all the time. You can't see anything. And it's just incredibly dangerous.
And it's cold.
Plus, it's cold, too.
Right. So they take 2 9-foot sledges with them. The temperature is negative 47 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fuck.
On the first day, Cherry Gerard takes off his gloves to pull a rope.
Smart.
Within a minute, all 10 of his fingers are frostbitten.
A minute?
Yeah.
Good Christ almighty.
Yeah.
To do something with a rope?
Well, because it was harder to pull with the gloves on.
Yeah.
I don't buy that at all.
Well, it was.
Let me just think about this for a second. Yeah, it's worth it. I can't get a good grip. Now you have no grip.
I put gloves on at work, though, to get a grip on anything.
Yeah. Get a grip.
So
They left his fingers at the depot for on the way back.
Yeah, we'll eat them.
Ooh, Vienna sausages.
It's like alive. Those fucking idiots crying and eating fingers.
Delicious. It's fucked up.
I can't believe I knew that guy. It's so good.
It's for you, Mark.
Maybe we should stay here and create our own society.
So they have to go to this place, Cape Crozier, and it's they're on the Ross ice barrier, and the Ross Island is kind of attached to the barrier because it's all frozen in. And at the end of Ross Island is where the penguins are. It's where they do their winter egg laying and holding and warming and such.
It's where they hold their ceremonies and pray and practice witchcraft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Black Sabbath type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so the temperature would get down to negative 70 degrees at time. What would be called 100 degrees of frost, because you just you add 30 or whatever to calculate the frost level.
Smart.
Got to do that.
At night they would have to get their legs warm enough to bend them into the sleeping bags. The legs, they were too stiff from being frozen.
Chief, I got a problem here.
My leg's fucking hard as a rock.
I can't get into an L shape. And now that I'm in an L shape, I can't get into an I shape. You know what I'm saying there?
You know shapes?
Why don't you guys come over here and rub me a while?
Now don't think about nothing.
The dogs.
We're 30 miles away from them eggs, guys. Now they're from Chicago.
And so as they're walking, like their sweat is freezing underneath their outfits. By the third day, their sleeping bags are just frozen.
God.
And Cherry Gerard says, as for our breath, in the daytime it did nothing worse than cover the lower parts of our face with ice and solder our baklavas tightly to our heads. It was no good trying to get your baklava off until you had to get the primus.
This is balaclava.
Sorry, balaclava.
Yeah, baklava is best served warm.
Delicious, yeah. Balaclava, sorry, yes.
You got baklava all over your face, you fucking mook.
The weather's fucking up in a fucking baklava. And the cheesecake's fucked.
We're the Norwegians. So, balaclava.
We have Danish every morning. Now you can
meatball. Taste familiar.
Now you can smell your upper lip all day long.
They would say that like you could hear your breath freeze.
Oh my God.
Crackle, crackle, crackle.
Yeah, and at a certain point you're going like, when does it just get in my lungs?
Yeah.
I don't like this.
So after 19 days, they reach a place on the edge of Mount Terror, 800 feet up.
Mount Terror.
Which is on the Ross Island. And at the base of Mount Terror is where the penguins are. 800 feet up. They build an igloo hut using their sledge. They stand it up. They use that as the main beam, and they pile some rocks around it, and they put ice blocks on top of those.
And the pony climbs up and...
No, it's just them, no pony. It's just 3 men for some reason, 2 sledges, constantly falling into crevices.
Yeah.
Just say you went. You made it just like say you went. Oh, the snow must have...
Beat each other up.
And you say, don't fucking talk about this to anybody.
Beat each other up and go like, the penguins fucking... We interrupted one of their fucking masses.
Yeah, and we couldn't get their eggs. So
they fucking whipped our asses.
Yeah, and now we just can't stop fucking each other.
No.
Because we couldn't get the eggs.
We couldn't get the eggs, and also, we're fucking kind of part of their whole, black mass
Yeah. We work for them now.
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
It's always night.
Anyway, we're gonna need your hearts, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've heard of Kali Ma.
Chalk today. Anything?
Kali.
How startled do you think the penguins are gonna be when these guys with balaclavas show up?
Or baklava.
Hey, it's our favorite squad.
You do such a good bird voice. It always gets me.
Bird voice.
It's the squawk. I think it's the squawk.
Birdie Bowers! Let me talk to him, gents. I'm a birdie.
I'll show you a picture when they get back. He does look like a bird. So they take their tent and they put their tent in front of the igloo as kind of like their entranceway. And then they have to it takes 3 days
To build
this.
God.
It's a great use of time.
Just eat a bullet.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to waste the ammunition.
I'm like, can you guys choke me?
Then you make it hard.
Oh, true.
And then you're like, oh.
And you know how hard it is to get an erection down?
Well, it just...
when you're in our...
Oh,
I can't get my I shape into a J shape.
Dude, that's like, dude, like, I know you know, especially, but like the dry eye shit. Imagine how dry your eyes would be in that fucking shit. Like, just like when you feel like the eyelid stay on your eye when you're trying to open it.
It's freezing. Your eye water.
So they finish their hut, and then they have to climb 800 feet down to the penguins. And as they're doing this, they're cutting steps into the ice. And then as they're going down, Chair Gerard falls into 6 crevices.
6?
Yep.
Oh!
Yep.
Out.
And they're going, all right, we'll get you up. Then they just reach a solid block of ice. So what happens is as the ice like just is pushed and pressed against these mountains and the land, it just piles up and piles up and piles up. And so they're pressure ridges, they call them. And there's no way past it. And so Wilson's poking around and he just finds a hole and he goes, well, it's in the hole. And he goes into the hole and he keeps going and he keeps going. And eventually they find the hole leads all the way down to the land.
Cool.
Oh.
And
That could have went.
it could have, yeah.
And is this maybe like what the penguins used or something?
No, I think it's
natural.
just pure fucking luck.
Huh. Cool.
My question's for the penguins. Were you guys expecting us?
So they get down to the penguins. The penguins make there's all this uproar. Yeah, squawk. And rightfully so, because they immediately kill 2 for the blubber.
They immediately kill 2 for the blubber?
Yeah.
So,
because they need blubber for the stove. They have a blubber stove and they have a gas stove. And they need blubber for because they don't want to run out of gas.
Yeah.
yeah.
So the
And
blubber
you can
stove.
eat it. Probably
Yes,
tastes
and you can eat it too.
horrible.
So they kill 2 for their blubber and skins, and they take 5 eggs.
Can you imagine how fucking traumatic this was for those penguins?
Well,
These guys come out of nowhere, ski masks on, and they fucking kill 2 of us right in the middle of church.
meanwhile, the Norwegians are coming over with Danish.
Yeah, he's
Maybe
like-
it's the Dane squad.
They have sardines.
The British are coming. Hide the eggs.
Yeah.
And and they take 5 eggs. They on their way back. Cherry Gerard, 2 of his break because he can't wear his glasses and can't see that well.
Were they frozen?
Are
Are they so well insulated?
No, they would be. They tried not to let him freeze, so they put him in gloves. But of course, if you hit anything, then it breaks.
Yeah,
the glove.
fucking broke a fucking, like, sleeping bags don't work.
Yeah.
So wait, they got the eggs.
So they get the eggs. It's
How
just
many-
like a one-day
how-
trip.
do you
They
know
get
how many?
5
Five.
eggs.
5 eggs.
Two break.
Yeah.
2 break right away.
Did they eat it after? I mean, like,
No, they're just smashed in the
and they're also
midst.
fertilized. Like they're
Yeah.
little tiny penguins.
You got to
Yeah,
taste
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Probably dip a finger.
Yeah. Well, Gerard says, Terry Gerard says that he thinks that his mitts didn't get as frozen on the way back because of the oil of the eggs. I don't know whether he's a zoologist. Genius. They get back to their igloo and they're just fucking beat.
Yeah.
And Wilson just keeps going, things must improve. Things must improve.
Can't get any worse.
And everybody regards him as the most likable. Like they're like that. He's the best guy we've ever met.
Really?
He's like the most lovable, and he's like this amazing artist. He does these amazing watercolors while he's there. These drawings, incredible.
He's Bob Ross out
He's
there.
basically
Yeah.
But he's just going, and he would never be negative, but he's just going, things must improve.
Which is still a positive.
Yeah, this was him at his lowest point.
Yes, pretty much. Yes,
And he was still looking up.
Yeah.
He was still looking up.
and so by this point they've made the longest winter journey in the history of Antarctica by double, and it's been like 23 days.
Fuck.
And they get down to sleep, and then a ferocious windstorm sweeps in, rips their tent from the front of the igloo.
Ooh.
Their only tent. That's if they don't have that, they can't survive on their way back.
Bye.
Then the gear in the tent gets scattered all over the place. A black
Fucking easels.
My paintings.
My watercolors. Things must improve.
This is not what I meant.
It's fucking Woody Allen now. Whoa. My brushes and my oils.
My glasses.
So there's just a black wall of snow just flying by the
Because
hole.
of paint?
Because it's so dark.
Oh, Black Wall of Snow. Good album.
Dude, that's a crazy phrase.
Yeah.
A black wall of snow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And so they go out to get their gear. As they're going out to get their gear, the wind just knocks Bowers over twice.
Yeah, fuck him.
Almost topples him just down. And they get most of their gear back except for a couple pieces of their gas stove. Then their blubber stove breaks. And they go, we're probably not going to have a meal for a couple days at least.
Time.
We're not going to have a meal anymore. We've had our last meal.
You gotta just hoof it. You gotta start walking.
Well, you can't. It's a blizzard. You can't go anywhere. And so the next day, snow...
Maybe a tunnel.
The next day, snow and glacier debris is now spilling through the holes in their igloo. So glacier debris is I forget what the word is, but like, as glaciers move, they just drag
Shit.
garbage everywhere. And so that's just these rocks just broken into garbage.
Yeah.
Dust.
Penguin turds,
Yeah.
feathers. Your horse from a year ago.
Yeah.
Jeffrey?
Yeah. Fucking Merlin?
Yeah, they did. They had some colorful names for their animals, including Chinaman and also the N-word.
I was just going to say that's what they... Of course they did.
Yeah.
Well, that's what H.P. Lovecraft's cat was...
No.
Yes, H.P. Lovecraft had a cat name.
What horror! So Lovecraftian of him. And so
You in Lovecraft country now.
And then, so as they're trying to fill the holes in the these little crevices, and as this happens, a gust of wind rips through the new hole, like the new cover of the hut, and it rips the wood roof right off their hut. And rocks that they had built for walls start falling in.
It's
on
raining
them.
rocks.
Yeah.
And so they all just desperately dive into their sleeping bags and go like, "We gotta wait it out."
Wow.
And just get drifted over.
Stiff upper lip, chaps. Let's just wait it out.
And nobody, we do not huddle together for warmth.
No.
It'd be uncouth.
They did say that they would, like, every so often they would just poke each other to be like, poke me back just so I know you're alive.
Oh, God.
And it's
Not with that.
I'm sorry, sir. It's frozen solid. There's nothing I can do about it, sir.
We don't think this is because of the penguins. The prayers reached the heavens and showered rocks upon us for killing 2 of their ilk. Do we, fellas? Chaps?
Squawk! No!
they
We've
measured.
been infiltrated by the Emperors. One of us. It's the thing all over again. Quick, get me the blubber torch. We're going to find out which one of us is one of these goddamn shape-shifting Emperor penguins.
I'm afraid the Emperor's having his revenge, chaps.
Looks like we're all subject to the Emperor's new groove.
So they measure the wind. It's a force 11. They think it's force 12, which is hurricane. But force 11 is 65 to 75 miles an hour.
I think it's just feels like a 12 inside here.
Might be a 13, sir. Shut up!
And that's how they spend Edward Wilson's birthday.
Oh my God!
Did they have 34 candles for him?
No. They
They stuck some sewing needles in some turds and lit them on fire. Happy birthday, sir.
This goes on for a whole day.
Which felt like forever.
Yeah, and so Monday morning it finally ends. It's been 2 days since they last ate. They've been just in their sleeping bags for hours.
And you can't sleep.
Hours. No,
You can't
You're
sleep.
too-
You just shiver.
Yeah.
And you probably can't pee because like your body's probably holding on to any liquid and
Anything.
warmth.
Yeah.
Like, you ever go pee when it's cold out?
Yeah.
And like maybe you're a little cold too, and then you just pee, and then you're like, oh God,
Yeah.
you gotta keep that pee pee.
You got to keep the turds too.
Yeah.
You got to squinch them in.
Yep.
And hold on to that.
That stuff is as good as gold.
Yeah, and then the body will
Reassimilated.
it'll cannibalize its own turds. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Take the nutrients back. We left some good shit in here.
Hey, wait a minute.
Wait. The body will sift through the shit.
A couple of
Body has
horse teeth in here.
What is that? Vitamin A? Don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do. Please pass the turd, man.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Old
sir.
chap.
Blow out the candles, just freeze.
Even my ass likes the taste of my shit.
Imagine if that's the clip. So eventually Monday morning, the wind dies down a little bit. They pull the floor cloth over their head. They somehow cook what passes for a meal. They said it was the greatest thing they've ever eaten and also the worst. Then they go searching for their tent.
Do we know what it was?
It was some burnt concoction of
shit and feather.
yeah.
Let's
yeah.
put it together.
Yes, it's
What do we
pemmican.
have?
That's it.
What do we have? Well, we have 2 smashed penguin eggs, and then we have the hoosh, and then whatever debris.
We've got 4 fingers frozen, of course.
3/4 cup shit.
A dash of pube.
Bill, it's your birthday. Your pube will do.
Come on now. Don't be shy.
Oh, look, it's gray.
So they go searching for their tent, and by some miracle, as it blew away, it actually closed up, and it got stuck in the ground. Because they have 70 miles to go back, and without the tent, they do not live.
God damn.
So like their blown away tent got stuck
Also on their journey.
like on their path.
It could have blown anywhere.
Yes, it could have been swept out to sea, but it was half a mile away.
Dude, the spell is broken.
Yeah, and also
The penguin's magic lingers no more.
We have reached the boundary of the dark magic of the Emperor. My friends, a new day.
So they get the tent and they get the fuck out of there. They start back, and very slowly though, but they eventually get back to main camp. It's August 1st. It's been a 5-week journey. They have 3 eggs that survive, and eventually, postscript, being examined by researchers years later would not bring any useful information to the scientific community.
The eggs.
Oh, God.
And that's because recapitulation theory. That's it. That's the evolutionary theory, which had, by the time they brought the eggs back, had fallen out
of favor
with the scientific community.
Yeah. Oh, new shit has come to light, gentlemen. It was all for nothing.
And
any cool stories? Anything of note?
It doesn't even cure your gayness, you know. Exacerbates it, as a matter of fact.
That's we found out the hard way.
Yes. Now you chaps might be turbo gay.
Sorry to say.
Yes. Oh, I'm pleased.
Moving on.
And that is how the title for the book, that is the worst journey in the world, and that's how that ends.
I like it.
And when we come back, we will go to the South Pole.
Okay. Be right back, folks.
Bye.
And we're back. Everybody's slurping on some pee. That's great.
So when they get back, Scott acknowledges you guys have probably done one of the hardest journey ever done here. Mm-hmm. This is what they looked
Shall
like.
it be remembered forever?
This is what they looked like when they returned.
Oh, I think I know which one Birdie is.
Yeah.
So, because this is an audio format, I need to explain. The middle chap in the photo we are seeing
It looks kind of like the Count from the Muppets.
has quite a beak, shall we say?
Yes. And
The other guy looks...
That's the penguin that infiltrated the crew.
Yeah. One of us. The guy on the left looks like fucking Panzram.
that's Edward Wilson.
Okay.
And that's
The one everyone likes. Things must improve.
yes.
Guess again, Ed.
And that's Cherry Gerard on the right.
Look at him. He looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes, he came from a rich family.
So that really is Birdie in the middle.
yes.
Of course it is.
Damn. Look at him having that big fucking hot cup of shit.
Can't fit his fucking nose into the mug.
No.
It's like...
Squawk.
Give him a dish and he'll just bend down back and forth.
He gotta fucking spit it into his mouth.
Could one of you chaps chew up this pemmican and slop and whoosh and just regurgitate it into my beak? I mean mouth.
Just sort of drool it in there.
Quick, before it freezes.
No time to waste, chaps.
So, we get back at the end of August. In September, Robert Falcon Scott outlines his plan to reach the South Pole. 16 men in 4 parties. One party will go on the 2 motor sledges, and they will bring supplies to the 80th latitude, wait for Scott and the other parties. The other parties will have ponies and dogs. Then they will all go to the Beardmore Glacier, and that is the glacier that separates where they are and the pole. And you have to climb up the glacier, and then on top of there, it's basically a plateau to the pole.
Okay.
Nice. Easy breezy.
Yeah,
no problem.
It was an episode of Game of Thrones.
And Shackleton had found the route up and over and through the glacier, through this little pass they called the Gateway. And so they would just follow his plan. And when they got to the glacier, Scott would send the dog teams back and have the ponies shot. And then 3 parties would go on to climb the glacier.
You would have the ponies shot.
Yes. Because then they would fill up the depots with the pony meat.
It was an ambush.
The 3 parties would go on, man-hauling up and over the glacier, and they would set depots along the way. And then Scott, when he got within, distance of the pole, he would pick his final 3 men that would go with him. And his one party of 4 would go to the pole. The other ones would go back, and then
shoot each other.
And then,
Always has been.
You chaps will go back there and shoot each other in a Mexican standoff.
It'll be great.
The ponies have objected to the plan.
Shoot them. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. He wins the pony.
And then so everybody would go back, and then Scott had a date which he said have a dog team come out, meet me at this latitude, at this depot, and then you will help us get back. So it's like we'll be over the glacier by then, and then we'll need we'll be fucking beat. We'll need your help, and so the dog team can help us do that. So Cherry Gerard outlines the what he calls the general scheme. General scheme was to average 10 miles a day. From Hut Point to 1 Ton Depot, with the ponies lightly laden. From 1 ton to the gateway, a daily average of 13 miles was necessary to carry 24 weekly units of food for 4 men each to the bottom of the glacier. This was the barrier stage of the journey, because they're crossing the ice barrier. Mm-hmm. A distance of 369 miles, as actually run on our sledge meter. The sledges had little mileage meters. The 24 weekly units of food were to carry the polar party and 2 supporting parties forward to their furthest point and back again to the bottom of the Beardmore Glacier, where 3 more units would be left in a depot. So I will show you, here is a map of the depots with a little underlay of the land itself. See? You see,
yeah, there's quite a few depots.
yes. Now they
Is
could have.
there an office depot
Yeah.
or a...
Home.
But you see the plan there. You get to the glacier, you get over the glacier, and then as you get closer, you keep leaving these more depots. 1.5 degree depot means they're latted 1.5 degrees away.
Almost there, fellows.
So leave a depot at the top of the glacier, in the middle of the glacier, at the bottom of the glacier,
God, it sucks so bad.
and so that's the plan.
All right.
Looks good.
I mean, it seems thought out.
Yes.
But how long have they been here now?
So they head out in September. So they've been there about 9 months.
Oh God.
But Scott also he has the boat send back instructions for more supplies, because he says if we don't make it this year, we'll wait and we'll do another
We'll
run.
do it next winter. Perfect.
We'll go again.
So, just to catch up, because
Yes.
this is now a second.
This is the second expedition. Yes.
Right. So the first one was for the eggs. Useless. Now, bragging rights
Yes.
Yes, this is
to be second.
Well, they don't know that.
Right.
They don't know that the Norwegians will get there first.
Right. Because they met them and
Okay.
they're like, oh, these guys are pretty good. We'll beat them.
And I'm asking this question, and I will happily retract it if it would lead to any spoilers that you have in the narrative. But it would seem likely, even logical, to have some sort of fragging or like a mutiny, like, you know what I mean? Because it seems like this guy really doesn't know his fucking dick from his elbow.
Who?
Scott.
Well, by all accounts, everybody says he's the best guy for it.
Right.
Because he had led the other journey, and he led that first journey. And when he had written about it on his way back, I mean, during that journey, Shackleton did have a case of scurvy and passed out, and he had to be dragged. And Scott wrote about it, and people thought there was a feud between them. There wasn't, but that's what people thought. But he was largely regarded as the guy. And Shackleton had his run at it, and he didn't get there, but he said he went the furthest.
Yeah.
And so now Scott, building upon the previous runs.
Yes.
So
He had experience. Experience is experience.
by all accounts, by everybody involved except
Well, you can save that if you need to.
one person.
Ooh.
The penguin.
He was basically pretty much loved by everybody, and Jerry Gerard writes just admiringly about him, just saying like
Wilson?
about Wilson.
Okay.
He was their favorite, but Scotty said he wasn't the biggest man, but he was heart he meant well. He was heartfelt. He worked hard. Nobody worked harder than him.
Okay. All right. So yeah, and I mean, there's got to be, some goodwill built. By doing those things, like going and getting those dogs, you're like, well, if he's doing that for the dogs, he'll do it for me.
Right.
So that's going to go a long way.
Yeah.
And thank you for indulging me there.
You're welcome. So they start the motor sledge team is supposed to go out first. 50 miles out, both the motor sledges break down, and they're then caught up with immediately by the dog crew and the man hauling crews. The motor sledge party then has to haul 740 pounds for the remaining 150 miles. Just
pulling it.
Just men
hauling.
pulling.
Tugs.
If only we had some sort of hybrid.
And again, Oates did not take the pony horseshoes. They were constantly falling into the deep snow. Progress was slower than they had meant. After a month, the four teams did reach the Beardmore Glacier. Then a blizzard struck, and they were stuck there for 5 days. And they were forced to break into their glacier provisions earlier than they had planned.
Oh, no.
Not good.
And then afterwards, I'll read off their daily rations. This is from Cherry Gerard.
Here we go. What's on the menu today, boys?
Daily rations. Here we go. Henceforth, our full ration will be 16-ounce biscuit, 12-ounce pemmican, 2-ounce butter, half-ounce cocoa, 3 ounces of sugar. Cocoa. 3 ounces.
Coca. I think they might have reached the plateau a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
3 ounces sugar and almost 1 ounce tea. This is a summit ration. Total 34 ounces. A little onion powder and salt.
Onion powder, nice.
Yeah.
Hey.
They did have a zinc sulfate cocaine tablets for the snow blindness, but it didn't actually help. It just numbed it.
So they were chopping.
Yeah, they were chopping.
Snow chop.
Were they for eye drops?
They
Drop it in their eye?
Yeah, at night.
No, they fucking
And
boofed it.
They would get snow blindness. Amundsen's team never did because they marched when the sun was at their backs.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so they didn't.
They weren't peering straight into a nuclear bomb.
We're not silly people. Even though we sound that way.
I know we're always sounding so excited. It's miserable here, but we know what we're doing.
You have to get completely racked.
You've got to get all the gags out on Goop, man.
I bet you wish you had that in the night of the raining rocks.
You boys brought Pony. You should have been riding the white horse.
So,
Courtesy of our friends in Tierra del Fuego.
so then they at this point they shoot the remaining horses.
God, I'm so glad you brought up the fucking Coke because
Yeah.
then we find out, shit. The chop makes an appearance.
Hey,
Of course, this
Dude,
is a profile.
any good story.
Dude, going to the South Pole without cocaine?
What are you doing?
Yeah. Hi.
So they shoot the remaining ponies. They pass through the gateway, and December 11th, they're a little over a month in. Scott sends the dog teams back.
Yeah, why would you...
Get out of here.
Because
Go on, be free.
They have this belief that the dogs can't climb the glacier.
No testing.
No.
No reading.
And Scott sends them back with a note that says, "Things are not so rosy as they might be, but we keep our spirits up and say the luck must turn. This is only to tell you that I find I can keep up with the rest as well as of old." I think I read that. Yeah, that's what he's right. He's
His
just saying,
fingers are all numb and stuff.
he's just saying like, oh, I'm old, but I'm in pretty good shape.
I'm
here.
quite sprightly.
Still got it.
So they start going. It's 150 miles up the glacier, a 9,000 foot climb, and then from there it's 300 miles to the pole.
Too far.
And as they climb, they're dragging the fucking sledges. They're getting in these deep ruts of deep snow, getting stuck in them, snow blindness. And 210 Bowers writes,
God damn, like
A good tent that doesn't whiff off while you are camping.
dude.
Too cold.
Bowers writes, I'm afraid I'm going to pay dearly for not wearing goggles yesterday when piloting the ponies. My right eye has gone bung. My left one is pretty dicky.
Bong and Dicky?
One's bung, one's dicky.
Those are my horses.
And he's the one with the glasses.
No. That's Birdie.
Birdie.
Jerry Gerard is the one with glasses. Birdie was the one just there with his bung eye and his dicky eye.
Gee, what does that even fucking mean?
They're just
Gone
bad.
bong.
It's just like one's bung, one's dicky.
What do you want, dude?
And they say it takes 3 to 4 days to,
To unbung?
yeah.
What if you take a ton of Coke fucking drops?
They don't, it numbs the pain. It doesn't do a single thing for you. It just numbs the pain.
Not the way I do it.
Burns. It's good, though. Oh, it's the drip. It's the best part.
The drip.
Fellas, the drip is severe, I'm afraid.
Well, chaps, I'm about to get eye gacked.
I met you guys tonight, right? I like you guys. No homo, of course. The eggs and all.
So, December 21st now, they near the top of the glacier. They lay their upper glacier depot. Here, Scott sends one of the teams back. He sends Cherry Gerard's team back.
Thank God.
And Scott writes of the rest of the journey. He says he's satisfied with such a prospect they have. And they're making good time. They're sometimes 15 miles a day.
That would be the solstice, would it not?
Where?
The 21st is usually the solstice, isn't it?
Well, down there, if there's a solstice down there, it's either all night or all day. And I don't know if it's the same dates when it's the southern hemisphere.
Right, yes. Presumably.
So, who's to say?
Who is to say? I don't know why I'm throwing that in there, but I thought it might matter.
You never know.
It was just a date that stuck out to me. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I like how you think. 15 miles a day sometimes. When they reach the Great Plateau off the glaciers, the wind is just blowing constantly. It's never above 0 degrees outside, and this is with the sun out 24 hours a day. And Bowers in his diary, he goes, what is below us? Is it mountains covered in ice?
It in Nazi base.
Because it's just this solid plateau of ice. Because the wind is constantly blowing. It's just perfectly flat, but who knows how deep the ice goes there?
It could be hell, which would make sense with
It freezing over and
it
all.
freezing over,
yeah.
and also with of course the witchy penguins. That I would say it's probably a satanic penguin burial ground maybe.
Maybe. Kind of a
Ideally.
pet cemetery situation.
I like to get into hypotheticals.
But they're making good time. January 2nd, Seaman Evans he's putting new runners on the sledge, and he cuts his hand.
And that hurts.
And, the thing down there, there's no germs. You don't get colds, but things don't heal as quickly. And the hand will bother him.
You don't say.
And then
It's
Scott...
quite bothersome, chaps.
Afraid I'm bleeding to death.
It's frozen solid.
And then January 2nd, Scott selects his final team for the final run. And
draft.
For some reason, unbeknownst, I don't think he mentions in his diary, he elects for a team of 5 instead of 4.
Oh.
Maybe thinking that they could go faster.
We're going to have to shoot one of you and eat you on the way back.
We'll have a spare, chaps.
So they have to recalculate the supplies. And then they seem to, that's not so hard.
Not enough coca tablets for you, my friend.
I think part of it, two of the men that he sent back had just pulled sledges for 600 miles. So he probably said they're pretty gassed. He sends back this guy Lashley, the guy Teddy Evans, who wouldn't let the motorized sledge guy come, and this guy Tom Crean. And the return party, their trip is one of the most heroic things you'll ever hear. Basically, Evans didn't like this guy Teddy Evans. He didn't like eating seal liver, so eventually he gets scurvy.
Damn.
And he's constantly lying.
I don't like it.
In interviews years later, he would constantly the date was never the same of when he got scurvy, and he wouldn't tell the guys. And eventually they're like, no, you can't walk. Your skin is yellow. You have scurvy.
What do you mean? I've always looked like this.
And my mother's Chinese.
Jesus Christ. The horse was...
Nah.
So they're having this, by the time they get off the glacier, this three-man party, they get off the glacier, they get to 1 Ton Depot on February 9th.
This is the return party.
Yeah, the last return party. February 9th, they get to the 1 Ton Depot. Evans can't move. They have to put him on the sledge and drag him. A week later, he collapses. He can't move. And so Crean and Lashley make a deal. Lashley will stay with Evans, and Crean by himself will make a run to a Hut Point, 35 miles to get him.
Oh, God, a lone guy?
And if he falls into a crevice, that's where he stays. That's how it works.
Or if he runs into a pack of penguins, fuck.
Surly seals?
Well, actually, the sea leopards do attack humans.
Sea leopards?
Oh, yeah, they're like sea lions.
They're large.
They're
like
big.
1,000 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, man, imagine eating that thing.
Some motherfucker. Just
Break yourself.
And Crean, 35 miles nonstop, does it in 18 hours. He collapses as soon as he arrives, but he gets to Hut Point, Scott's hut, and two men, the doctor and this guy Dimitri, they go back and they save Evan's life. They bring him back in, and he lives.
damn, bro. These guys are having just incredible luck. I mean, the tent.
Yes,
and the single guy survived.
Yes,
those are pivotal things.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's
Could have went sideways very easily.
Yeah, one of the most. I mean, just him agreeing to do it and then doing it. Two incredibly heroic acts.
But there's a thing there too where you just go I mean, just fucking. I know what you're saying, you can't do it when the weather is inclement.
Yes,
but otherwise it's dude, just keep fucking charging. Just go. The sooner you get there, the sooner it'll be over, and you can go to Pizza Hut.
Sure. If you can see, yeah.
Pizza Depot.
Yeah. Nobody out Pizza's the Hut.
No.
Nobody.
Salad bar.
I don't think they have indoor ones anymore.
Back then they did.
They did.
It was back then. They had
That's right. Yeah.
Pizza Palace.
Back when they had the red cups.
Yeah, 1911.
Plastic glass.
1912. So back to the polar party.
Avoid the Noid, dude. You just that's number one in Antarctica. Avoid the Noid.
Yeah, Norwegians did it. The polar party, 5 men. Robert Falcon Scott, 43 years old. Edward Wilson, 39. Seaman Evans, 37. Horse expert Oates, 32. Bertie Bowers, 28. Though Chapsley Gerard would write, quote, Bowers was exceptionally old for his age.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Looks like shit.
Dude, you look like shit.
No birds aged.
Yeah. Probably Irish or something.
January 10th, they lay their 1.5 degree depot. They're 90 miles out. Team is struggling to pull. The weather has been doing weird things on the plateau, and these ice crystals are kind of turning the pulling, like pulling on sand.
Ooh.
It is. It's making it. They're not. They actually beat Shackleton's time, but they're not doing the time that they thought they might be doing.
Yeah.
And then January 15th, they lay their last depot. And so I want to say they're like 50 miles or less to the pole. And they notice, let me see, right here, where is it?
They should charge the crystals.
Yeah, this may be where I believe they could find the crystals that made Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Why didn't they make a Fortress of Solitude with those crystals?
Yes.
Is that in the diaries or?
Because it's about the friends we made along the way. I don't think
the super friends we made along the way.
I don't think solitude is part of that area.
True.
And so January 15th, they lay their last depot and they see a Norwegian flag.
Oh,
It's the Red Cross. Nope.
And they see tracks.
glad you could join us, friends.
Got me in the weather's fine.
We've got some smoked sea leopard if you'd enjoy it.
Yes.
If you can stomach it.
We actually put up a pole at the South Pole. We're playing tetherball. Get in here.
Silly Shackleton, he think pole alive.
Get in here, you silly freaks.
We got a disco ball and everything. Come on. Sandstorm's playing by Darude.
Do you know the route?
We carved a hot tub in the glacier. Last one's in a rotten penguin egg.
Yeah, it's the night of January 15th.
I don't know what the Norwegian flag looks like, by the way. I just said a red cross.
No, they are. They're always those
It's a
crosses.
red flag with the cross.
Cool.
Okay, so
Good job, buddy.
Thanks.
So I was off by one day, but Scott writes in January 15th in his journal, he writes, a diary, whatever. It ought to be a certain thing now, and the only appalling possibility of the sight of the Norwegian flag for stalling ours. They're 27 miles from the pole.
And he's like, man, it would be really sucked if that flag was there.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
the next day,
Take it down.
This is from Wilson. The next morning, we got away at 8 a.m. and made 7.5 miles, lunched, and then 5.5 miles, came into and saw a black flag, Norwegian sledge, ski, dog tracks running northeast and southwest both ways.
Black flag?
The flag was of black bunting tied with a string 2/4 after, which had evidently taken off and finished a finished up sledge. The age of the tracks was hard to guess, but for probably a couple weeks or 3 or more. The flag was fairly well frayed at the edges. We camped and examined the tracks and discussed things. Surface was fairly good. Norwegians came up, evidently by another glacier.
Took a dump on the flag, had supper.
But
Damn, bro.
it
Ain't that about a bitch, man?
temperature's negative 22.
No way.
Temperature's negative 22. They were beaten by a little less than 30 days, I believe.
Fuck.
And
Spider-Man, No Way Home.
yeah, just 15 miles. They reached the
Norway
pole.
puns?
January 17th, they reached the pole, just as they feared. They saw it, and Scott writes, the pole, yes, but under very different circumstances from those expected. Great God, this is an awful place and terrible enough for us to have labored to it without the reward of priority. Well, it is something to have got here.
Great God, this is an awful place.
It is.
It is.
No. That's like from a song I really like. And I wonder if they.
Oh, yeah,
I
probably.
wonder if they took it.
Probably.
Was it like a Norwegian death metal band?
Was it Darude?
No, it was like a British post-punky band.
Yeah, probably.
But it's word for word. Great God, this is an awful place.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And in
Great God, this is also just. You know it sucks there.
But this really cements it.
yeah, because if they had gotten there first, it would have sucked. But
It's supposed to be uninhabited. It's full of fucking Norwegians. These fucking Viking
They
motherfuckers.
fucking put up an IKEA already.
Probably Irish. Yeah, it's me going.
so here's a picture of the miserable bastards.
Oof,
A
Maron.
limp dick flag.
So, are they just throwing their flag up next?
So, so when they get there, they discover.
They got to put it smaller.
So this is at the pole. Wow. That's Amundsen's tent. It's Scott, Oates, Wilson, Evans. The Norwegians left a tent. In the tent, they left some clothes.
A flaming bag of poo.
Yeah, they left
To England from us.
They left the skis, which if Bowers had learned how to ski, he could have taken, or maybe that's the English skis, I don't know. But everybody had skis but Bowers, and so that was not a great idea. And in the tent, they leave. Amundsen had left a letter for Scott to bring to the King of Norway, in case Amundsen didn't make it back.
Wow.
Thinking.
Yes. And I believe he may have even left a note for Scott, being like, "Hey, I like you."
Your Highness, this cock brings news of my great victory.
Sadly, I am not alive to bring myself.
Can you believe that loser brought ponies? What was he faffing about with?
For your eyes only, Your Highness.
Yes.
Don't read, Scott. Give him the map, Scott.
They were doing a different kind of skiing. South Pole. Squirting cocaine into their eyeballs.
Can you imagine?
Can you believe such things?
I'm so glad you guys have found a new character.
All we brought was some panels and an Allen wrench.
Couple of guys, couple of dogs, no big deal.
It's so easy an Irishman could have done it.
Aye, it is true. I'd be the one to know. Jesus, where's them spuds, fellas?
Don't look at me.
So they leave some stuff there. They put an English flag there, and then they head back. And Scott also writes in his diary that in a lot of accounts the whole quote wouldn't be included. He writes back something to the effect of, "Now to make a race for it," and then the whole quote is something to the effect of, "Now to make a race for it and be the first to spread the news."
Oh, God.
But they take out the spread the news part to make it seem like he thinks he's desperate, he's going to die. They don't get back immediately.
No.
Yes.
But no, he's not. He isn't. He still is like, the plan is the plan.
Yeah, he goes, the secret stays here. And basically,
If we get the news out first,
if we get the news out,
Technically did it.
yeah.
it will spread to the world because we took it all over. Mm-hmm. You know,
We write the news.
violently.
Yeah.
No one reads the Oslo Gazette.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be like, actually, we got there first.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Go back to
That would
Lilyhammer.
be ridiculous. Bunch of Irishmen and dogs.
We're the British.
Yes.
So they start heading back. For the first 5 or 6 days, they're making pretty good time. They get to 1.5 degree depot when they notice that Evan's nose is fully frostbit. So they make an early camp.
Not
Not
Birdie, huh?
No, they left him behind for that reason.
Yeah.
No, Birdie was with them.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was beaks don't yes, frostbite.
Yeah. It's all
They're made of that hard
Yeah, because it's all bone.
keratinous.
Barely any cartilage.
I'm fine.
I don't give a. Now I know where all the cocaine went.
Yeah.
Man hauling.
God, I made that deal with the Penguin Overlord. My soul for a nose.
So they make an early camp to try to keep his nose from just dying. But the next day, all of Evan's fingers are frostbitten. And the weather starts getting worse and worse. Evan's fingernails start falling off.
Oh, is that scurvy? Or just the frostbite?
Just the frostbite. Oates' big toe is turning black and blue.
Sup, Oates?
Bauer's the only one who's not on skis. He has a leg that is swollen and painful.
Got a big leg.
He's a small guy. He's got little legs, and they're all swollen.
Well, this one's big now.
Yeah.
Check me out, guys. I'm like you guys. I got a big leg. Squawk. Just walking in circles. Can't see shit. The fuck? These are my footprints.
Don't give him skis. He's fucking driving to the ocean. Fucking idiot. There you go.
And that's how they invented water skiing.
Yeah, he caught the back of a killer whale. Whoa!
So at the beginning of February, they reach the glacier and they start crossing it. As they start crossing it, Scott and Evans both take nasty falls.
Oh.
Evans, it is later believed, was probably concussed from at least one of these. He took multiple falls.
Had a lot of weird ideas.
Scott hurts his shoulder, but he seems okay. But now 3 out of 5 of them are injured, and Bauer's leg hurts, and Wilson has the snow blindness still. And Evans' hand, which he had hurt during the sledge repair, is still not healing.
Now, was that like a bung hand or a dicky hand or?
Sounds a little bung,
Yeah,
but maybe a touch dicky.
yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely smells bung.
Oh, it's mine. I like it.
But no, that's interesting that because it's so cold and dry that there's no bacteria in the air.
Yes.
Or on
So
the ice.
infection,
There's no infection to happen, but it just doesn't heal.
Yes.
Which is frustrating.
Yeah, the pain is eternal. your torment goes on.
Rub a few coca tablets on that, you're good to do, bro.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Let's go.
This place is run by fucking Cenobites. Your torment is basically pleasure. It's the same.
Meet our denizens, the penguins.
These guys are sick.
Some have called them angels. We have called them friends.
You're about to be reduced and punished by little men in tuxes.
One of these birds figured out our little Rubik's Cube and opened up the pit to hell.
Why would you think their eggs make you not gay? They do gay shit all the time. It doesn't make any sense. Silly shit.
Ponies? Seriously?
Why can't you be more like the Norwegians?
Those guys are cool. You don't happen to have any extra needles for my head, would you?
About 1,000, Lord Pinhead.
This guy with the gaping wound on his hand's got the good idea. I like your style, dude.
You're a cool guy. You're truly a cool...
Peel that thing open and you can hang with us. Cool, do you get it? This guy's leg's broken. He's got a big one. This guy's shoulder. This guy doesn't have fingers. You sure you guys aren't Cenobites?
With a hole in your trachea and a harmonica in front of it, and you can join the crew.
It's rockapella.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
that.
pretty much, yeah. It's
It's kind of like that.
It's kind of like where they were at that point. So February 8th now, they leave the Upper Glacier Depot and take on extra weight, a collection of rocks weighing 30 pounds.
Oh, some rocks?
For science.
There's
No one has rocks from there.
no, those ones from the moon, though. Now, those are good.
Yeah. But, they planned, I don't know.
Get some rocks.
Yeah. We're gonna need these. They thought they were eggs.
February 14th, Evans, now
Valentine's Day. Bummer.
Bunger. Evans, now he can't even help set up the camp. He also then mentions to them that he has a giant blister on his foot.
I didn't want to tell you guys this, but
My foot's gone bong.
the
Never mind. You didn't even want to know about my asshole. Fell asleep, got all dicky. My dick's gone bong and my bung's gone dicky.
I didn't want to pop the blister because it's keeping me warm. All that good blister juice. It's like having a full bladder, fellas.
You know how much I like a full bladder?
Yeah. If we get desperate enough, we'll split it up between us.
Yeah, put it in our reindeer sack and swig it.
Better than this fucking hoosh.
We'll let this marinate for a couple of days, and once we get over the glacier, we're gonna have a feast.
Fucking foot marinade.
Oof. You call up a Cenobites, a couple of Norwegian guys. We got ourselves a fucking quorum here.
Yeah. Fucking dissect the seal.
Hey, make a meal out of it.
So that's February 14th. February 17th. This is Wilson writing.
3 days later.
February 17th, the weather cleared and we got away for a clear run to the depot and had gone a good part of the way when Evans found his ski shoes coming off. He was allowed to readjust and continue to pull, but it happened again.
Okay, you're allowed.
It happened again and then again. So he was told to unhitch, get them right, and follow on and catch us up. He lagged far behind till lunch. When we had camped, we had lunch, then went back for him as he had not come up. He had fallen and his hands frostbitten, and we returned for the sledge, brought it, fetched him on it as he was rapidly losing the use of his legs. He was comatose when we got him to the tent and died without recovering consciousness that night about 10 p.m.
Who was this?
Evans.
Damn.
He was delicious.
Oh, God.
They eat him?
Yeah. Guys, I fell. My fucking hands are frostbitten. What'd you do? We had lunch.
Huh.
Oh.
You're not using those boots now, are you? Or those gloves?
Balls?
Wilson continues, he died without recovering consciousness at 10 p.m. We had a short rest for an hour or two in our bags that night, then had a meal and came on through the pressure ridges about 4 miles further south, reached our lower glacier depot.
Did they leave him there?
They did. I assume they put a cairn, stack of rocks, and a sign.
Yeah. But later, he was eaten by seals and...
Ideally.
Cenobites. Resurrected in the black magic ritual from the penguins.
Yes, yes.
So rules over them is
a hole in his throat.
Now he leads a pack of killer whales.
Now, it should be... as bad as that is, now they can move faster, theoretically. They have... they don't need as much food.
Right.
5 was unnecessary.
Whose idea was that?
Wait, are you... Is this the Norwegian or the English accent?
That's
they're picking up on it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've been together a while.
Yeah, oh, yeah?
In proximity.
It happens like that.
Now, there's still, at this point, without Evans, now they're marching 10 miles a day, but it is getting harder. And then they meet the point that Scott had set where they're supposed to meet the dogs. But they get there 3 days early. And there's no dogs. And Scott writes...
Dogs don't have a calendar.
Keep hoping to see the dogs.
Well, they were going on dog years.
But they're early.
Yeah.
So...
How I'd love to see some dogs.
On the day that...
Evans?
The dogs do arrive on the day that they were supposed to. But they don't see
they're more
Scott
punctual, yeah.
Because Scott was early. And so Scott decides, we'll just keep moving.
And now, is he moving in the direction of the dogs?
Yes, but it's such a large landmass.
That you can just pass by each other, two ships in the night.
You have the longitude and latitude of the depot.
Uh-huh.
And you try to get somewhere near there if you have any visibility. And then you just look out in the distance and hope you see the stack of rocks.
Yeah.
God,
and that's the
they don't
flag,
have like
the
a
bamboo
Luxor
flag.
pyramid with the beam of light or nothing like that.
No, they're not Cenobites.
Searchlights, anything?
Laser pointers.
Just a couple of dumb ponies.
Yeah.
But they're still
R.I.P.
They're still marching all right, and they're feeling pretty good. But when March hits, the weather's getting worse, and they start doing less than 10 miles a day. Oates' foot gets frostbitten.
Is that the one with the blister?
He's the one that had the toe.
The toe, frostbitten.
Toe.
So, yeah.
Evans was the one with the blister and the cut hand.
Got it.
No.
And fell down and concussed. Oates,
And died.
Oates is a horse expert. He had a frostbitten foot. It got worse. He can barely move.
Guy knows nothing about shoes.
No.
Horses, human, just lost.
But they're still making okay time and distance. But March 17th, they get stuck in a blizzard. And
all the
St. Patrick's
patties
Day.
and the fucking Norwegian crew are celebrating. Jesus, look at them Brits falling like flies. Here we go, fellas. Jesus, we got to the fucking pole before them. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? Huh? What?
It's the luck of the Irish. Good thing you brought us along.
Now they're-
Spuds.
Oh, they're fucking dropping like feckin' Egypts.
Oates, he goes to bed the night of March 16th, assuming that he will die.
Wow.
He wakes up.
Got no ponies to expertise on.
He wakes up in the middle of this blizzard, and he gets dressed, and he turns to the other men, and
Why was he undressed? It's freezing.
well, because they get in the bag. He gets dressed,
He didn't eat the egg.
or at least he put his shoes on, you know. I think they like the shoes.
They're going to catch me.
He gets dressed March 17th morning, and he turns to the other men, and he says, I'm just going outside and may be some time.
Oh, God.
And he opens the tent flap, and he walks into the blizzard,
I've had enough, friends.
and he disappears, and he's never found.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to join the Penguin Friends, and we are going to lead a dark revolution against all of you types of people.
Except the Norwegians.
And the mix.
And the Cenobites. These
And-
guys are not to be trifled with.
Those guys are cool. If you think 4 is good, wait till you try 3.
I'm going to go join my horses. In the land where they roam free.
Without the shoes.
With no shoes.
But it's regarded as like, that is the way you do it. You don't force your
Elephant graveyard.
Yes, you
You
don't.
don't burden your
Yes, with dragging
mates.
your body out and putting
I'll
it somewhere.
just be over there.
Yeah, and then they have to build a cairn and and put it. No, they just go.
I've just got to take a shite. And I'll be back.
I am just going outside and may be some time.
I need some fresh air.
And those are his last words.
Well, it's,
Good last words.
They are.
it's okay, what will you be doing?
Why?
I'm going to jacket.
What's out there?
I know it's frowned upon. I know my balls will turn to icicles as soon as I remove them.
The load may freeze mid-ejaculate. Mid-spurt even.
I want to hear it.
Well, you said you needed some ropes, and I'm going to make some.
As soon as I splacked, it turned to fucking debris and sprayed my face.
Poked Scott's eyes out.
Oh.
So they continue on.
We won't talk about that again. I'm sure he'll catch up.
And
Lost one to the Cenobites.
Score 1 for us.
and so that's March 17th. They march on. March 18th, Scott writes, today, lunch. We were 21 miles from the depot. They're on their way to 1 ton depot.
So
That he had laid 30 miles short.
Oh.
And he writes, March 18th, we are 21 miles from the depot.
But really, are they 51?
No,
Oh,
they are.
Or they would have already
They would
reached
have
it.
got 9 miles ago.
Oh. Game. Cenobites.
So wait, they would have got there and that guy would have lived.
I don't think he would have lived. I think they had made...
Okay, so he was he prematurely.
Well, he might have. I mean,
bit the dust.
well, no, actually, no. I think you're right. I mean, 21 miles from the depot on the 18th.
So maybe.
So, yeah, or at the very least, they could have sent someone to the depot and come back with food for him. Or something for
A
him.
salve, bandages,
Yeah,
Something, yes.
ointment,
some hummus.
Yeah,
Neosporin.
well, yes, and we will
horse.
We will get to some. They were constantly short of oil for their stove
Silly little lamps.
because their the storage they had used, the oil evaporated out of the tins because they used corks to stop it. Amundsen, he sealed it with the metal. He
Yeah.
soldered it
Yeah.
closed. And so they never lost oil.
But it evaporated.
But Scott was constantly writing about
the
oil
oil's
missing.
disappearing.
And one thing,
I think it's because they had the
That-
Jews at the other one where they had that mystical oil keep replenishing.
I don't think I knew it. Well, I mean, I guess with that, incredible fucking wind, but I didn't even realize oil could evaporate.
yes, I did not realize that either.
Yeah.
But whatever
fuel they were
Yes.
using.
Yeah.
Like alcohol, gasoline, it all evaporates, right? So it's not like motor oil, but it is some kind of,
Yes.
volatile fuel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so those things will evaporate. Like if the air pressure or the temperature is
Oh, yeah,
different than the place that you got it.
Right. But
Bummer, dude.
Norwegians didn't have that problem.
No.
Fucking South Pole is just going, give me whatever you got. If there's moisture in anything, I will take it.
And so, yeah, at the very least, they could have got more stuff out of the depot, even if it was a few miles away. So, March 18th, Scott also writes, my right foot is gone, nearly all the toes.
I'm not writing anything after that point.
Well, part of it is the stoic
Yeah.
Britishness.
And it's the scientific method.
Yes.
I'm afraid I'll have to do this stanky leg back to camp.
No more crip walking for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
When I get back to my wife, I'm going to super soak that hoe. As God.
And he will be. Cenobite.
Do you think, Matt, if these guys were staying chubbed up and keeping the ball sack full, maybe that would have created like more fire in the
Ayurvedic sense.
more coals in the in the fucking the engine,
Probably, yeah, because the body it wants to create more sperm.
It does. It does.
But if you're using that energy to spoim up,
Yeah.
then all the blood is leaving your toes and appendages. Sure, you might have a working cock, but your toes are gone. You know?
And also, you don't want to get that cock frostbite.
Well, you don't. I mean,
That's fair, yeah,
it's
that's
just,
true.
that's your own thing.
I
But
would
you
hope-
got that nice turtleneck on yours.
yeah,
So it's staying nice. So you got a baklava on it.
Yeah, you'd be fucking great. Me and Aaron be fucking. We would have fucking oofty goofty fucking cocks out there.
Dude, our cock's teeth are shattering.
We're like, hit it with a crowbar. Do whatever you want.
Can't feel a god darn thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Matt's fucking under there is like, I don't care if it's raining rocks.
I'm raining rocks, Bill. So, March 21st, Scott writes, got within 11 miles of depot Monday night, had to lay up all yesterday in a severe blizzard. Today, forlorn hope. Wilson and Bowers going to depot for fuel. So they've
Left him.
forlorn hope. No, they didn't. They hope they can. They're now stuck in a blizzard. The blizzard will last for days and days and days, and they are 11 miles. And they hope it doesn't last more because they're running out of food. And it's now been 3 days, March 22nd and 23rd. Blizzard bad as ever. Wilson and Bowers unable to start. Tomorrow last chance. No fuel and only 1 or 2 of food left. Must be near the end. I've decided it shall be natural. We shall march for the depot with or without our effects and die in our tracks. Thursday, March 29th.
No more this little piggy went to the market for me.
March 29th.
Where are the dogs?
I was told there would be dogs.
March 29th. Since the 21st, we have had a continuous gale from west-southwest and southwest. We have had fuel to make 2 cups of tea apiece and bare food for 2 days in the 20th. Every day we have been ready to start for our depot 11 miles away, but outside the door of the tent it remains a scene of whirling drift. I do not think we can hope for any better things now. We shall stick it out to the end, but we are getting weaker, of course, and the end cannot be far. It seems a pity, but I do not think I can write more.
I do not think we can hope for better things now is also a line in that song.
That's definitely...
They definitely were grabbing stuff from this. That's amazing.
And what was the last sentence you said there?
He says, it seems a pity, but I do not think I can write more. R. Scott. And then he makes one more entry. And it is, for God's sake, look after our people.
Oh, And he drew
then
a Stussy sign.
He dies.
Scott?
They're all dead.
All of them?
11 miles from a depot.
Oh, God. Ugh. Damn.
And so the people in the main hut, they had sent the dog team out, and there was conflicting directions, but it's believed that Scott said, don't let any harm come to the dogs, don't risk them. So Jerry Gerard himself actually goes out with the dogs to the spot and doesn't see Scott, doesn't see anything. He brings them back, and then
To the depot they were going to go to?
where the meeting place was originally. Doesn't see them. He brings them back as per were his instructions. Eventually, they send out a team to see if they can find them. And Cherry Gerard is on that team. And this is months later. They get people off the boat because they know as they get deeper into March, they go, they should have been here by now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Been here. And eventually, when they get past March, they go, there's no way. But any sound, any sound, like, in the middle of the night, they would hear a sound and just run out.
Scott?
Yeah.
Is that you? Well,
So who died with Scott? It was 3 left.
It was Wilson, Bowers, and Scott. And this is November. This is Cherry Gerard. November 12th. Nearly midday, 11 to 12 miles south of 1 ton. We have found them. To say it has been a ghastly day cannot express it. It's too bad for words. The tent was there, about half mile to the west of our course. And close to a drifted up cairn of last year. It was covered with snow and looked just like a cairn, only with an extra gathering of snow showing where the ventilator was, so we found the door. It was drifted up some 2 to 3 feet by woodward, just by the side, 2 pairs of ski sticks, or the topmost half of them appeared over the snow, and a bamboo which proved to be the mast of the sledge. Their story I am not going to try and put down. They got to this point on March 21st, and on the 29th it was all over. Nor will I try to put down what was there in the tent. Scott lay in the center, Bill on his left with his head towards the door, Bertie on his right lying with his feet towards the door. Bill especially had died very quietly with his hands folded over his chest. Bertie also quietly. Oates' death was a fine one. We go on tomorrow to try to find his body. He was glad that his regiment would be proud of him. And then he writes that Scott had died with his arm over Wilson's chest.
oh,
God.
And I there's no time to read it here, but before he died, Scott wrote letters to his wife and then to the families of Evans, Bowers, and Wilson.
Wow.
Writing about like how honored he was, how great they were.
Damn.
And Scott, after his last expedition, he had written a book about it and become, even more famous because of his writing. And so, of course, all of his diaries and everything would be published. Mm-hmm. And absolutely Gerard would, when he got back, would publish his diaries and writings. And not everything was published.
Mm. New shit has come to light, Aaron. New shit has come to light, Aaron.
Oh yeah, this is the stuff that came out in 2017.
So in 2017, Chris Turney publishes this Cambridge University press article or academic paper called "Why Didn't They Ask Evans?" And in it, he details pretty convincingly that Scott's diaries and Cherry Gerard's diaries and many of their diaries neglected Scott writing that they were short of food in the depots when they were on their way back. And it's noted in the writing that Teddy Evans, that guy, second in command guy who wouldn't let the motorized guy, he was a real fucking asshole and people did not like him. Mm-hmm. And, he got the scurvy and had to be saved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like seal liver. I'm just a question mark.
Mm-mm.
And it is now, at least I think it's pretty well argued that
he stole the food.
he took extra food from the depots on his way back.
And that's why you can say I don't like. Because if you're that hungry,
he's still eating something.
you like everything.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking knew.
He had some fucking power bars squirreled away.
I fucking knew when he was saying, I don't like. I was like, there is no like.
Yeah, it's the Arctic.
There's
it's
no
the Antarctic.
like.
You don't eat anything.
Yeah.
Your friends start looking like roasted turkey legs, like Wile E. Coyote and stuff, you know?
And so Turney goes through all of their diaries, and he points out that Cherry Gerard writes or publishes from Scott's diary, March 10th. Shortage on our allowance all around. I don't know that anyone is to blame. The dogs, which would have been our salvation, have evidently failed. Mears has had a bad trip, I suppose. That's what Gerard publishes. What it really said was, shortage on our allowance all around. I don't know that anyone is to blame, but generosity and thoughtfulness have not been abundant. The dogs, which would have been our salvation, have been evidently failed. Mears had a bad trip, I suppose. It is a miserable jumble. Scott also writes in his...
Let's slow these down a little. I guess I'm
okay. So the thing that was cut out was generosity and thoughtfulness have not been abundant. Because he's noting, they cut out when he notes that there is food missing.
Yeah.
And also in Scott's diary, which was not published, was Teddy Evans is not to be trusted overmuch.
Oh my God.
He's second in command.
Shoot the fucking guy.
On March 4th, now it's March 24th, so he's near death at that point. On March 4th, before that, he writes, we cannot expect little from man now except for the possibility of extra food at the next depot. That's what's published. The part that's not published is after that he writes, a poor one, about the expectation of more food.
He's on to him.
February 7th, he writes, first panic. Certainly that biscuit box was short. The shortage is a full day's allowance.
Damn.
And between that and planning the depot short, I mean, taking on Teddy Evans might have been the worst thing he did.
Yes.
Because it kept the motorized sledge guy from helping.
Yeah.
And it cost him extra food.
And he got scurvy and then left
and almost got another man killed.
Yeah. Jeez.
Damn.
Don't bring Teddy Evans.
No.
Thankfully, he's dead.
Thank God. He is?
He's with the setup
Can we
right
fact
now.
check that?
Yeah.
But that is the story of Robert Falcon Scott's
Worst journey.
polar journey. And that's not even the worst journey in the world.
It's the one after
It's
it.
the one after it.
With same characters?
Well, the worst journey in the world is the one to the Emperor Penguin.
Yeah. That one was for all the eggs.
Yeah.
This one was for death.
Yeah. It was for death.
This was to become third place.
Yeah.
So what happened to Teddy?
He took the first ship back and gave conflicting interviews about when he got scurvy.
I don't know.
I don't know. What is scurvy anyway?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It affects the brain, you know.
My memory's all shot from the scurvy.
It's
I don't
Bung or Dickie or something. I don't know.
What kind of world do we live in
Yeah.
where you question a man who has scurvy anyways?
I'll tell you, who doesn't have scurvy is those fucking patty donkeys over there with the fucking Norwegians. Pieces of shit.
Look at them, not me.
Yeah, we should beat their asses.
Yeah?
Again.
Guys,
Let's go!
come on.
Fucking-
Wow, what a tale.
Yeah, that's
That was incredible, Matt.
Yeah.
That was really fucking incredible.
Harrowing.
Harrowing. Yes, it really was. I mean, god damn.
I mean, you know,
Did he die an old man? Like, did fucking
Yes.
he did?
God damn. Well, you know what? Good. Live with that on your conscience.
I think I'm going to have one of those frozen biscuits
Nobody would
I
notice.
stole from my friends now.
I didn't even eat them. I just took them as keepsakes. This is the biscuit that caused the folly of that old expedition. Would you like to fuck me now that I can think about it?
Those chaps that went and got the eggs, there was no fucking rain of debris. It was me outside their sleeping bags throwing frozen biscuits at their faces.
You don't read that in the diaries.
And that felt good.
Maybe it was the cocaine. I can't be certain.
I met you guys tonight. Right? Damn.
Great story.
I love just dark penguin magic.
Yeah, and Cenobites.
Cenobites.
Dogs, ponies.
Glee for Norwegians. Sounds like
On the verge of exploding.
sounds like your trip was
Cut short. We don't even know their accent.
I'm basing it on one Danish guy.
Yeah, close enough.
That I worked with.
Should work.
Shoot. One of the things that this guy did, he was like an old Danish guy. This isn't when I worked at the Danish furniture place. The guy, he was from Colombia. He was a warehouse manager, and he was trying to do some repair. And this guy was like this old Danish man, like he was like the repair master. But he's going at that old man pace of whatever, and he's dawdling around, and he comes over Diego's shoulder, who's trying to fix something it's not going well, and this guy just goes, "Did you goof it up?" And I was rolling. I was like, and then the dude went, "Well, yeah."
And that's what Terry Evans did.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
goofed it up.
As
goofed it up.
Norwegians, they took a boat over and they went, "Did you goof it up?"
Did you goof it up?
Goofed it up.
These guys are high-fiving the dogs and fucking,
Who's a good boy?
yeah,
They're all juggling.
yeah, chasing the Irish guy around.
Juggling penguin eggs. They're like, we like them.
Gay shit is out of sight. Juggling. Matt, are we ready for part two?
I believe we are, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to fucking buckle up for part two, because that was incredible.
Thank you.
But it's only going to get better.
Oh, no. I mean, yes.
That was
Next
part
time.
one? Jesus.
Next time we're going to have Cenobites, Penguin Overlords,
Gigabytes.
Gigabytes,
Bagel bites.
Bagelbites, Trilobites.
Stalactites.
Yes.
Stalagmites.
Yep. Killer whales,
Porpoises.
seals in heat. Fucking
Kiss by a rose on the grave.
clueless Englishmen, knowledgeable fucking Vikings,
Yeah.
and some plucky Irish guys.
And reasonably affordable furniture.
Very, very. Folks, I'm going to say goodnight. I love you. My name is John Fahey.
I'm Aaron Pita.
Matt Rizzo.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.